This kid's fire.
Brother, what's that? What's that, brother? What's that? What's that, brother? Brother, what's that, brother? What's that? What's that, brother? Brother, brother, what's that? What's that, brother? What's that? What's that, brother? Brother, what's that, brother? What's that? What's that, brother? Brother,
Yes, people! Welcome back to another stream! Manchester City, another day at Wembley. Manchester City, another 90 minutes. Manchester City, another trophy. Domestic double, haters hold that. We won yet another one. Lads.
Nah, I look like a douche.
All right.
Bro,
I just seen someone say put the shades on.
I
I'm
seen
in
you
the
put your
spare
shades on,
room.
but I
I
was
look to my
like,
left and
bro,
there's shades right
where
there.
are shades, man? Oi. Come on, Braze. What's happening? Welcome to the show. We got Tarek on the way. We got Joe and Danny for now. Danny, what's going on, man? How's life in California, mate?
Oh, mate, buzzing. Sun's out, City winning trophies. Nothing to complain about, mate. Good to be back on.
Good to have you. Joe is showing us his house. He's doing a house tour. You get a Joe Butterfield house tour before you get an LB fucking set-up tour, man. What's going on?
Yeah, it's look at this. This is just one of the wings of the house that I live in. Yes, good. I mean, it's hard to complain after a trophy win. It's, considering where we have looked like we might be at certain points this season, coming away with a minimum a domestic double, mad things.
It is absolutely insane. Yo, yeah, people saying, what a haircut, Danny.
No, I know, mate. I look
Where's
like
the
I've
fucking
just,
hair gone, mate?
I look like I've just scored 5 goals against Newcastle in 2015.
Yeah, you do. You actually do. Now, big up for jumping on, lads. Like I said, we've got Tarek on the way. A couple of the boys obviously went to the game, so they're not here. They're still travelling back. But yeah, big up to everybody in the building. Smash these likes up on the way in. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel as well if you're new. Danny, let me start with you. Another trophy, a domestic double. It's only been done 5 times in the history of this country before today. Obviously, we was one of the teams that has done it. We've done it again. What does that say about City, man? The fact that we've won yet another domestic double in what's been quite a topsy-turvy year, up and down, very volatile. The fact that we've managed to get our hands on another trophy says it all, really, doesn't it?
No, it's a real testament to how well this club's bounced back from such an underwhelming season last year. The fact that 1 year on, we're playing in high leverage games. I know the title might not be going our way, but we've won 2 domestic cups and we're competing against the big teams for the most part. You know, you look at Liverpool, since Klopp's left, it's been a bit of a dumpster fire. You look at United, they've been tragic for 13 years now. You look at Chelsea today, just completely devoid of any sort of identity, and it's just a real testament to how far we can go in such a short time. Performance, nothing special, but got the job done. That's all you need to do in a cup final. So shout out the lads.
Well, yeah, I mean, performances don't matter in cup finals. Unless, of course, you are ESPN football, in which case, when Manchester City win the Champions League, you need to sit there and slag us off for half an hour. But that's a different thing. Joe, 2 trophies. What are you making of this, man? It's quite impressive, isn't it, considering we've done this in what a lot of people are saying is a transition year, rebuild year. Yeah.
I mean, start of the season, it looked like we were kind of getting a bit more back to a bit more of what we were used to after last season. Then obviously we had a patch sort of where it didn't look great. It's been a very patchy season where it's been like sometimes good, sometimes not so good. And we've kind of done what we always do and sort of peaked at around the right time of the season, where obviously we've had the Carabao Cup final. We've then had a couple of months where we've been like really on Arsenal's tail for the title. Obviously the Everton game a couple of weeks ago was kind of, for me, just like killed the Premier League title for us. Now we're not gonna win that. But if we're not gonna do that, then it's good that we do the other trophies that we can win, which is what we have done. We've at least ended the season with 2 of the 3 that we were sort of in the running for this time a month ago. Which, yeah, I mean, look, even to come away with 1, I've always said, based on obviously how last season went, is that all I wanted to see this season is like a marked improvement on last season, because obviously knowing that this is kind of a semi-transitional season, you can't have last season and then expect that this season is just sort of like, right, well, that was the blip, and now we're going to go back to normal Manchester City under Pep Guardiola now. So I think that just to get to a point where we've looked comfortably and now with trophies objectively better than last season is the biggest thing for me. And then that should hopefully be a good platform for Pep and or insert other manager here to take us into next season, depending on how the season ends.
Yeah, no, I hear it. Tarek, man, big up to you for jumping on. He's on
Appreciate it.
What's going on with you, man? What do you make of that today? Another trophy locked in. You know, we've just said, been a bit of a weird season, very topsy-turvy, but at the end of the day, this will be a historic season. It's only the 6th time in the history of this country that someone's done a domestic double. So that's very rare. I don't think, Tarek, let me ask you, let me put this to you. I don't think some people realise just how difficult it is to do a domestic double. I've just seen the 6 times since 1960s.
That is kind of mad. I'd have thought it'd been loads more than that with obviously the Fergie years. I'd have thought it'd been a thing that happened quite a lot.
Well, are you just talking about the cup double? Or
Yeah, just the cup double.
No one's won FA Cup, Carabao Cup. Forget, you can win the Carabao, you can win the Prem with it or without it. It's never been done more than 6 times.
Yeah, that's mad because we've done it twice. I know Liverpool did the cup treble in 2001, but I couldn't name the other ones, to be honest.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
I'm good, but I'm not that.
But this is the point. I don't think people realise how rare it is to do what we've just done. Maybe it's because we're so used to winning Premier Leagues and shit that like people are sort of like maybe being a bit dismissive of what we've just done. But it's incredibly rare. Like this is not something that happens a lot. It happens once a decade.
So does that mean we've done it half the times it's ever happened? Because we obviously did the quad. We've done the domestic quad. We've done the treble, and now we've done this.
No, but the treble wasn't. No, the treble wasn't domestic, was it?
Yeah,
we did a Prem.
No, he means the 2 cup double in England. Carabao.
I'm talking FA Cup, Carabao Cup. It's only been done 6 times in the history.
Right. Oh, so it's the cup double then, right? Okay.
Yeah, but you can win a Prem or Champions League with it, but ignore them. No one's ever won it. It's only been done 6 times. So it's that Carabao Cup started in the 60s. So we're talking once a decade this gets done. So if you tell me this happens once every 10 years, that's a very, very rare thing. But yeah, let me bring Tarek in. What are you saying about today, mate? Another trophy locked in?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's if you want to look at the season as a whole, you come back and say, you know what? It wasn't bad. Now we know that it's had plenty of ups and downs. It started really poorly. We've been much better recently. But when you get to the end of it and you just look at the whole thing and you say, hey, we walked out of there with 2 trophies, especially when we had 0 last season. I'll take those 2 trophies. Do I want the league? Yeah. Have I given up on it? First of all, do I think it's likely? No. But there's still a chance, right? But even if we don't, I'm content with the two trophies. Now, next year, we're going to get back in and we're going to be trying to go for the whole thing again. But yeah, give me these 2 trophies and at least we will. I guess you want to say we salvaged, if you want to say it that way. But yeah, I think that we do a disservice when we minimize these trophies like that, because we've set the bar so high as a club that now if we don't win the league every single season, it's a failure. If we don't win Champions League, it's a failure. No. There's going to come a day Pep's going to leave and we're going to be back to a more normal trophy haul, which, may not happen every single season, but I'll take this. I'll take this for sure. And I'll be happy with it. So
yeah, I'm completely the same. I'd take this to the bank every single day and cash it in, man. I completely agree. Would you rather win the Prem or Champions League? Obviously,
sure,
fucking would.
Course.
Yeah, but like I say, you ain't gonna find no one telling me that this hasn't been a good season when you've won 2 out of the 4 trophies. Yeah. Like again, if you actually just simplify it, yeah. When we started this season, there was 4 trophies on offer. We've won 50% of them. 50%, and there's still an outside, very small, minute chance that we could win a 3rd. I don't think we will, because I think Arsenal win the next 2.
Exactly.
And when you consider all the change that's gone on, like I say, I don't really like talking about like transition seasons and fucking rebuild seasons, because I just think it's an excuse to be shit. That's honestly my honest opinion. Yeah, I feel like if you're a top team, even when you're going through rebuild and transition, you should still be winning trophies. You should still be competing at the highest level, right? But at the same time, I can also accept, even though I don't fully agree with the term, that we've had a lot of changes at this football club in the last 18 months. I said it on the watch along. We've had coaches leave. He's got a brand new assistant manager. He's got a brand new backup assistant manager in Pep Linders and Kolo Toure. How many players have we signed in the last 3 transfer windows? Probably about 12. We've had players like Walker leave. We've had players like Ederson leave. Kevin De Bruyne leave. Gundogan leave. Mahrez left obviously a few years ago. That's still like these are big players. We've had rumor mills going on about the future of Pep Guardiola and who's going to be coming in. That's a lot of stuff that has been going on in the season that we've had to deal with. And obviously on top of that, you've had injuries to Rodri that we've been managing when he's come back. We got a leg break to Gavadio. We had to recall a 19-year-old centre-back from Watford because we literally had no players. Like, for me, like I'm just saying that, like, I think we've had our challenges. And listen, That's normal. Every season, teams have challenges, no matter where you're at. But to come out and win 2 trophies in a season that you've had a lot of challenges, a lot of integration with new players and new coaches, a lot of speculation about the manager and his future, that for me is a solid fucking season. And I say it again, if we go out there in the summer and buy the players that we need to buy, we'll be right back challenging for this Premier League properly. Not like this weird sort of like we're challenging, we're not challenging, sort of like week by week, in, out, shake it all about. I'm saying next year, if we get a midfielder, we get a backup right back, we get another attacker, we'll be there next year, full sending it, man. So I think this has been a great season overall. I think that you shouldn't dismiss a domestic double just because you can be pissed off that we're not going to win the league and Champions League, which obviously you can be annoyed about it, but don't forget, it's about picking up trophies along the way. You're not going to be able to win the league every single year. It's not possible. So it's important that when you don't win the league, you pick up the domestics to keep that trophy tally going on. And that's where I am at with it, man. I've been saying it for ages, but I'm so excited for next season because I think if this is what this team can do this season, which I don't even think we played that well, we've had all this change coming on. I'll throw it back to Joe on this one. I mean, like I say, if we do get these players in, surely everyone's going to be super optimistic for next year as well.
Yeah, it's the only negative after this season really is that we are going to lose some experience with like Bernardo, Stones, like those kind of players on the way out. Obviously,
that is big.
Which is, even the likes of Nathan Ake and stuff like that, they're not maybe in the case of Ake and Stones, they're not players who are like massively important to us like on the pitch, but they have all the experience off the pitch that is big for a dressing room. And so it'll be tough to sort of replace that, and maybe that's a bit where there's kind of a bit of transition maybe still exists. But I'm kind of with you in that, like, obviously, if you start to talk about how you're in a transitional season, it's usually because things aren't going very well for you. Like, I think a lot of clubs fans who say that are only the kind of ones who, like Liverpool, for example, they're a team that by every possible metric, given that they won the league last season quite comfortably, given the transfer outlay that they had and all this stuff like that, they should not be a team in transition. But 2-3 months into the season, they saw how things were going, and all of a sudden, it's a transitional season for them, and that's kind of basically how it feels like we've been a little bit. Obviously, last season we could all look at that and say that was a transitional season. Because of how it then started to play out after that first, month or so where it actually looked quite good. Then we were like, oh, actually, things are going really badly. But don't worry, guys, it's a transition. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And then we had that one season where we could go, look, we haven't won a trophy. Fine, write it off. This season, obviously, winning 2 trophies, whilst a lot of people are still sort of considering it to be a transitional season, is kind of mental. And I think... I kind of think after this season, as you say, we haven't even really played particularly well, and we're still within a couple of points of Arsenal. Like, it's kind of mad that we're in this position regardless. But for us not to have played that well this season and to still be in a position where we are with 2 trophies, potentially, technically, mathematically, still potentially a third. If we sign, a serious winger, if we sign a serious centre mid and maybe another centre mid, I don't know. If we sign, another right back, suddenly we're looking like, a team that the transition's done at that point. Like, as far as I'm concerned, that's the point where after this summer, obviously with a couple of key pieces leaving in the case of Bernardo Silva, you're then at a point where you kind of just like adding to the bulk of the squad that you've already got. Like, how after this when we were in the sort of the peak Pep time, every someone was like, right, we'll just add Riyad Mahrez now. Like, we'll bring in Rodri now. Like, that's kind of where we should hopefully be after this summer, I think. Maybe this summer will be a bit more. There'll be like 2 or 3, obviously because of players going out that we've got to replace. But for me, after this summer, this should be the point where we are actually that is the team that we are looking at for the next sort of like 4 or 5 years. Obviously with like some exceptions who will go. Like, I can't see the likes of Marmoush, for example, staying around too long because I just don't see where his role is in the squad. There'll be players like that who will just like go out and will replace them. But the bulk, that bulk spine of the squad, that like Cousinov, Gueye, probably still Rodri, to be honest, like Cherky, Haaland, Foden, that kind of base of the squad is going to be the next 4 or 5 years of our time. And that's what you build around. And that's sort of where we've finally, after what feels like 18 to 24 months of looking at the squad that we had and how old it was. Like, think about how like the Unk midfield of last season, for example, like watching Kyle Walker try to still run for the first 6 months of last season, stuff like that. From that to where we are now is kind of mad. So yeah, hopefully after this summer we look a lot stronger. For me, the question marks are still who's going to be the manager next season. Pep's trying to, depending on which interview it is, Pep's saying that he's staying. Pep's ducking the question. It's kind of mad. I obviously wouldn't begrudge him leaving at the end of this season based on what he's achieved and everything like that. But whether it's Pep or whether it's Maresca or whoever next season, like it's the squad ultimately is still in a really healthy place, and that's what matters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the future of Pep, of course, but then Rodri, what that looks like will determine so much about how I think I at least personally feel about going into next season. If we say that Rodri's gone, it feels like we're kind of starting over again. Now, maybe it's not that completely a start over or a rebuild or whatever, but it just feels like it has that big of a influence on what next year is going to look like. I saw somebody say, "Oh, we should have brought in a midfielder this season," and we did. We went and got Reinders. That didn't hit the way we hoped it would hit. Maybe it'll come around next season, but just that position, the way we play, it means so much. And for whatever reason, Pep has not seen enough out of Nico G to think that he's the person. So I just don't know that we have anybody there that's going to be able to fill that role sufficiently.
No, I think you do know the answer.
If you add Pep leaving to that too, then it's really just like, it's all things are up in the air. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Because the thing is, I think over the last couple of months, not only have we picked up the trophies, but I feel like for the first time in 18, 24 months, we've got stability finally. So it feels like we've finally found like a formula that works. Like time and time again.
That's the frustration.
Time and time again, what I'll do is I'll go back to that Wolves lineup from the opening day. And I look at that team, and it's just an objectively hilarious lineup. Because
what was the starting 11? Go on.
Okay, wait. So let's see.
Can I guess? Was it? Did we have Rico Lewis at right back?
Okay,
and then
so we have Trafford, Aït-Nouri, Diaz, Stones, Lewis, Reinders, Gonzalez, Jeremy Doku, Bernardo Silva, Erling Haaland, and wait for it, Oscar Bob. So you look at that team, it's objectively hilarious. There's like three of those players who still get in our best 11. And my point is, and I've said this before, it feels like we run like 3 or 4 different systems this season. And finally, it feels like, give or take 2 or 3 players, like we definitely have our best 11 right now.
And we didn't start it today.
Because if you look back on it, right, people say, "Oh, the Everton game cost us. Oh, January cost us." We lost 6 out of our first 9 points when we were still like screwing around with the lineup. We had a bunch of
it's the first.
But you look back at those lineups now, in like the point of view of like May 2026, and you look back at that, you'd be like, "What the fuck were we doing back then?"
Well, I think this is something that I mentioned recently. I feel like this year Pep has been playing around with different systems and different tactics and that a lot, and I feel like he's not really committed to one. And like just when he was playing that sort of system back in January, February time, when it was Rodri, O'Reilly, and Bernardo, he played that for a bit. That looked all right. Then he changed it again. Then he went to this 4-2-4 system. That's been looking all right. Then he changed it again today and dropped Cherki and put up another striker in Marmoush, and that obviously didn't work. Right. So I feel like Pep this year is like sort of like struggled to work out like a perfect system where he's got a system event and just gone, yeah, this is it. And then, but he's been changing it. But obviously today was a version of that 4-2-4 formation that he's been playing. He just decided to drop Cherki and play Marmoush, which was something that he tried, but obviously it didn't work. You could see from 10-15 minutes in that it probably wasn't going to work. But then credit to Pep, he did change it at half time and went, yo, this ain't going to work. But I just feel like I've
never seen. Just on that, I've never seen Pep send out the guy who's going to get subbed on at half time like 15 minutes before the end of the first half before. That is crazy.
The commentator was like 20 minutes in, he was saying, "Oh, Cherky's down on the sideline, he's getting ready to go." Like,
wow. that is I've never seen Pep be so quick to be like, I've fucked this up. When I saw Cherky was out warming up with that early on, I was like, is Pep actually going to make the change before half time? Because it's like, as you say, it was so obvious from so early on.
Yeah, but I always say, right, I don't have a problem with managers making big decisions, right? And when they make these big decisions, they're going to get it wrong. Because otherwise, you're not going to get a big decision. If you want someone that's just going to play the same system, the same formation
Yeah,
every
yeah.
time, and not take any risks, then you're never going to get a big manager. I have no problems with managers taking those risks and gambles. My problem is when they can see that it's not working and they decide not to change it, that's when I'll have a fucking problem with it. Because, like, so credit to him today. He's decided to start Marmouche. I don't know what the reason was. I don't know if he was asked about it in the post-match presser as to why he did that. He decided to start Marmouche. It didn't work out. But at halftime, he went, you know what? This isn't working out. Let me drop him, put Cherky in there. However, I've got to say, let's bring it back a little bit more towards the game than today, yeah? I think the sub that changed it was the Kovacic sub. I was speaking about it just before he subbed off Rodri. I was on the watch along and I said to the chat, I said, you know what I'd do here, chat? Yeah, brave decision, but I'd hook off Rodri me because he doesn't look fit, anywhere near fit. He was miles off the pace. I don't think he was fit at all, if I'm being
I was surprised he played.
Yeah, I thought he'd play, but I thought he'd be a little bit fitter than that because I thought he'd been saved. Kovacic came on, and straight away, as soon as Kovacic got on, he picked the ball up in the middle of the pitch and he drove with it 5 yards and he moved quicker in that period than Rodri did in the whole game. So credit to Pep for making that sub. I thought Kovacic come on and really help City get control of the football. And I think we started moving it a little bit quicker as well when he come on there, because that's one thing that Kovacic does. He does move the ball quite quick, whether he drives with it, whether he passes it. So I think that was a fantastic sub. And I think after he come on, to be honest with you, there was only ever going to be one winner at that point, because we was pretty dominant when Kovacic come on there. So yeah, I think for me, Joe, just going back to what you're saying, I don't have a problem with managers making those big decisions. Do I agree with the decision? No. But, you know, if they're going to be a big manager and a top-class manager, they're going to make these risky decisions, and sometimes they're not going to work. Just make them, just when you see it's not working, make a change. And credit to him, he did that at half-time. But yeah, for me, lads, I'm going to say, I think Kovacic was the one that changed the game. I want to hear your opinion. Let me come to Danny on Kovacic, right? And talk to me about his impact off the bench. And I want to know whether you think we should keep him for another year, because we're losing Bernardo, we're losing Ake, we're losing Stones. We've already lost a lot of experience in the last 18 months with Edison and Kyle Walker and Gundogan and Co. Is it worth keeping this guy in the side for another year?
Okay, first of all, do you know how preposterous it would have sounded 12 months ago if we said Kovacic for Rodri single-handedly won us a game? Second of all, completely swung the momentum. He carries the ball well. We didn't have to do a lot of dueling in the midfield today. It felt like Chelsea were really focusing their attacks down the wing, so it wasn't really a whole defensive thing, but we just couldn't really string passes together. Chelsea didn't really threaten all that much. It's just we weren't really cohesive in attack, and I think Kovacic tried to go direct a couple of times. It didn't really work, but he's a tempo setter, and I guess that's what we needed today with Rodri coming back from that groin injury, not looking back to his best. Fair enough to him for pushing himself to play this game, but change the game. So fair play. I'm very, very pleased that Pep was proactive with his subs today. There's been a couple times this season where he's made subs too late after the momentum of the game is completely gone and it's beyond repair. But today he realized his mistakes early on, and there you go. He won the game. Good substitution patterns. Would you keep him? I still maintain my stance. I would keep him, but I wouldn't have him as an integral player. I think my comparisons, like I said a couple of weeks ago, Ceballos at Real Madrid or Norgard at Arsenal, just come in time or time again, just be a stabilizer. Does not have to be a key guy who starts 40 games a season, but if you can start 5 or 10 times, and that should be exactly enough.
Yeah, Tarek,
yeah, I think I would be okay with that. I don't know that he's going to be okay with that if he's got opportunities to go, you know, whether it be Italy or wherever else, and potentially play more minutes. But yeah, I don't. From what we have seen from him since he's been back, I think he has been decent. He's been good. He's added something that we've needed. So yeah, and there is the experience factor that we're going to be losing quite a bit of. So yeah, I would have no problem keeping him for another year. But I also want to see, and again, they're different players, right? But I need to see if Reinders can do the things that Kova is doing, or if there's someone else that can do all those things, because otherwise those players, we just need to get rid of, or we need to allow them to really flourish. And so I need to see some of that from him, from Reinders. But as far as just Kova specifically, no, I don't have any issues with keeping Kova. I wouldn't be upset about that at all.
Joe, you got a different opinion, or?
I think I'm kind of with Danny that if he's going to be a guy who plays like very little, like comes in and does like 10, 15 minutes at the end of games, or can come on if a game is going a certain way, and he's happy to do that, then fine. But I think I kind of maintain what I said last time I was on, which I think was after Southampton, where there was a serious Kovacic glaze going on. And I'm just kind of like, look, like he is putting in a couple of decent performances at the end of this season, but let's not pretend that this has been the bulk of his performances at Manchester City.
It's like you said, he was just as culpable last season for that midfield debacle as Gundogan was.
Exactly, yeah. He is no more or less to blame for that midfield last season than anybody else. Like, I think he's still very capable, if you're going to make him someone who is a regular feature in this team, of being not a problem, but he has his flaws, and if they're not dealt with properly, then that can be a problem. But I think today was just a game that was crying out for what he gives us, which is someone who actually gets the ball and moves forward with it, because that was just one thing that was absolutely not coming from Ahmed. Even, to be honest, even after Cherky came, and I know that obviously a lot of people at half time, well, probably, to be fair, probably about 10, 15 minutes into the game, if not just outright before the game, were crying out for Cherky instead of Marmoush. But I think until Kovacic came on, Cherky didn't really do anything, to be honest. I think Cherky got freed up a little bit by having a bit more in midfield behind him. I think Cherky was kind of a bit meh today, really. And I think obviously so Kovacic coming on then did change the game, because we needed something to change in that midfield if Cherky wasn't going to be the guy who was bringing the change that we needed. And yeah, I should say Rodri just looked like Rodri looked like a guy. I was with you. I saw him starting and I thought, oh, well, that's why he's not been anywhere near it for a couple of weeks, because Pep's just had one eye on this game, thinking, right, I'm not going to touch Rodri until that, because I'm going to keep him in cotton wool so that he is actually 100% fully fit when this game comes round. And he looked like, do you remember the period? So he came back from injury and he looked amazing, but then after like 2 weeks, he started to look like someone who'd just come back from injury again. He looked like that today.
Yeah, like the Bodo game, wasn't it?
Yeah. He looked like a guy who is nowhere near it. So for Pep to actually make that change at a point where it was, because I think literally a moment before he got subbed off, Rodri had just been left at dust by one of their midfielders, and it was just like, yeah, this guy he's got to come off. So yeah, if Kovacic is happy to be that guy who does 15, maybe 20 games a season, including sub appearances, then sweet, I'm happy for him to stay. But if he wants more than that, or if Pep is going to use him more than that next season, I wouldn't be happy personally.
Yeah.
No, if Pep's going to use him more than 5 or 10 games, you have to take the toy away from him. You can't let him use it.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with it. Like, I think I want Kovacic to stay, but I don't want him to be playing every game. I think he's a great player to have around the squad, and I think he's a great player to start a couple of games here or there or come off the bench. But I feel like we should be aspiring to more than Kovacic next season in the heart of the midfield. So if it was me, I'd look at keeping him for another season. You know what I mean? Just with all the experience leaving. But yeah, I think we all agree on the same page there, just so long as he's not the
How much
starter.
more does he have on his contract, by the way?
I think it's 1 year, isn't it? I think it's got 1 year left.
He's going a free.
So we just basically let him go on a free.
Yeah, and he won't make the World Cup, because he'll be 36 at the next World Cup. So I doubt he's going to be at that one. I mean, he might have an outshine. I don't know. It depends on what Croatia were doing in at the time. But he might be looking at the Euros 2028 and going, I'll be 34. I could probably still get in that squad.
Yeah.
And
he probably still would in Croatia's. Yeah,
he probably would. So it all depends on that. But yeah, listen, let's go through some of the key points in the game. Then smash these likes up if you've not done so already, guys. How many people in here? 900 people locked in. Let's get these likes up. The starting 11 came out before this before the game, obviously an hour before the game. Tariq, what did you make of the starting 11? There's a lot of talk online about, well, why is Cherky not playing? Why has he changed it? Gone Marmoush. What do you think Pep was trying to do by dropping Cherky and playing Marmoush? What do you think his game plan was on that? Because that a lot of people was questioning that decision before the game.
Yeah, to be honest, I was one of those people that questioned it. I don't know what. So we've seen Marmoush get goals. I think he got 2 recently, but I don't know that there is a way that we play that he thrives in, right? So I don't know what Pep was trying to get at or get to bring into the team, or what kind of play we were trying to do. So for me, seeing Cherky, it made me question, okay, do you just think that Cherky's not ready to go a full 120 minutes? Because if this goes to 120 minutes, you don't want to take him off the pitch. So either you bring him on early and you hope you get up and then, or you wait. Because I really had no other reason to understand why Marmoush was on the pitch. It didn't make sense to me. Obviously, then it was like, are we going to go 4-4-2? We're going to go kind of more of a 4-4-1-1. Is he going to play underneath Haaland alongside him? There's a lot of questions that I had in my head, and I don't have high hopes for Marmoush necessarily, especially not as a starter. So I was kind of dumbfounded. But I think the Rodri being back was maybe even as big or bigger surprise for me, because I just didn't think. I figured if he was healthy, he would have been playing a long time ago, or even just like he never had any little small, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, any of that stuff to kind of build him up. It was just straight off the bat, which I guess to a certain extent we kind of saw with Gvardiol too. So
yeah, I hear it. I think I'm with
and that makes sense. Yeah, the pressing. Yeah, that makes sense because he does that well.
He does that well, Marmoush. But I think Freezy's right here with the Doku Semenyo spam. I think maybe he thought let's get Doku and Semenyo isolated on their fullbacks and spam crosses in. And obviously, if you've got an extra player in the box who's a striker, that could work. And to be honest with you, I have to give a lot of credit here to Chelsea and McFarlane, because I think their tactics were, from a defensive point of view, absolutely spot on. McFarlane basically said, do not let Doku in this game at all.
Yeah, for sure.
And he had 3 or 4 players every time Doku got the ball. He was basically played out the game. This is why I think if anybody in the chat today is going mad at Doku in that first half, I think you're completely delusional, because Doku was marked out the game. And as I said in the watch along, when someone's marked out of a game by 2 or 3 players, that means there's space for somebody else. The space was for Semenyo. Semenyo was getting 1v1s against Cucurella. He put 1 or 2 crosses into the box. Maybe the players in the box could have done a little bit better. There was that one where he played it towards the back post and Haaland couldn't quite get there. But ultimately, that was their game plan today from a tactical setup, Chelsea. It was, do not let Doku into the game whatsoever, because Doku's been slamming it, and we will allow Semenyo to have a 1v1 on Cucurella. And you've got to say, it worked. Doku did nothing in the game until Cherki come on. We'll come to that in a minute. And Semenyo was the out ball. Unfortunately, I don't think we got the ball to Semenyo enough. I don't think we got the ball to him quick enough. And I think when we did get to the ball to Semenyo, I don't think he was quite good enough on the ball for us to really sort of expose that 1v1 situation. And then, of course, when Cucurella gets booked, you know what happens when a fullback gets booked against Manchester City?
They never get a second yellow card.
We never
attack them ever again.
At halftime, I actually researched when the last time someone received a second yellow card against City was. It was Trossard in that Arsenal game where Rodri got injured. It's been that long. We've had red cards against us, we've all been straight reds.
So. I wanted Doku and Semenyo to be, to switch wings and just mix it up a little bit to see what that would look like.
Yeah, but I think that was the tactic, and I think what Cherki did, although I kind of agree with Joe in that I don't think Cherki came on and was great, but what Cherki did, and I said this on the watch along, I said if you bring Cherki on, that's going to stop Chelsea fully marking Doku out the game, because they're going to have to move that attention to Cherki. And soon as Cherki came off the pitch, Doku went from having 3 players on him to 2, and in some occasions 1. And I think that's where the Cherki change did make an impact. I don't think it's right to say the Cherki sub didn't make a difference, because I think it did. I just think it changed the way that the game was being played. I don't think Cherki came on and started doing really well, but it freed up Jeremy Doku. The actual play was the Kovacic sub. But yeah, it's an interesting one. I don't know if Pep's been asked about it in the press. Have you guys seen anything online? City Extra anything about it?
I haven't. I think the thing with Cherki is I don't think either him or Marmoush did anything, but it's the fact that Cherki likes to get on the ball. I feel like Marmoush just didn't want the ball in that first half.
Marmoush is allergic to it, man. It's
he
so
got totally marked out the game. The issue with that front line you started is I just feel like there's too many strikers in there. Marmoush isn't good enough in the tight space to be a number 10. I really, really don't like Semenyo as a touchline winger. I think he's okay at creating separation for himself, but it's got to be off the ball. He's not a great take-on kind of guy. He'll do a couple take-ons now and then, but I think he's best how we platformed him in that Palace game, where he and Nunes were in the channel. He makes a run in behind. Nunes waits the ball in behind and all he has to do is a snapshot or a cutback, and
Mm.
I think that's where he's best. I think he's best just in and around the box, being either the final guy in the attack or the second to last touch in the attack.
Well, that's what's so with Semenyo. It's so weird because that's how he scored loads of his goals when he first joined. You know, when he joined, it felt like he was scoring like every other game.
Yeah.
Like prior to this game, he's got 3 goals and assists in his last 12, and that's because we've been playing him further like as a touchline winger, like you say, and that's put him in a position where, well, he's not a creative guy for a start. Like I think we can all agree, having seen him for this first 3-4 months of his time at City, that he is not a creative winger. He's not a Doku who's going to create chance after chance after chance for people.
That being said, I think there are still 1 or 2 times a game where he'll put a ball across the face of goal and there's nobody there and it gets wasted.
Well, that was a dumb thing today because he did that. The stupid thing is that he did that today, and obviously you talk about, well, you've got Haaland and Marmoush on the pitch, so you can get more bodies in the box, and it's like, well, you had the one chance in the game where someone could actually get on the end of something, and none of our 2 strikers are anywhere near it. It's fucking stupid. And then anyway, but yeah, I think that the problem with when you play Marmoush as a touchline winger is that you completely remove his ability to just ghost in at the back post, or at least you make it more difficult for him to do that. He doesn't end up being one of the bodies in the box at the end of things. And then that means that he isn't scoring the goals that he was scoring at the start. Now, obviously, he scores today because he accidentally does. Him and Haaland actually swap over and do the wrong thing. Like, Haaland is the one who's creating the cross for Semenyo. But it shouldn't. But if the game plan was obviously as it was supposed to be, as we could all kind of see as it played out, that it should have been, Semenyo would not be the one in the box on the end of that, which is why he's not getting goals. Which is because we've since that glut of goals he scored at the start of his time here, we've kind of Pep's kind of moved him into a position where he's now no longer able to do the things that he was doing so well when he joined, or at least it's more difficult for him to do that. I find it kind of weird, but
yeah, that was my worry after Palace. Like, I didn't really know why the system worked. It was a really strange lineup, but the fact that Semenyo and Marmoush could sort of interchange, it actually worked. You had Savio holding the width, but the worry I had was Haaland's obviously going to come back in the cup final. He's going to run something similar. Surely it's going to be Semenyo getting shifted out wide and Savino getting kicked out of the team. And like we've said, Semenyo's not the best touchline winger.
And this is kind of the thing with
that's the thing with Haaland, which is ironic because the assist actually came from like peeling off to the right. He hardly ever leaves the middle, so you're gonna have like 3 people in the middle and no one out wide, and it's just all congested. And so the only option is to shift Semenyo out there, and like we've said, it's just not great out wide. So.
Yeah. The Marmoush, I've said for a while now, I just think Marmoush is just not a Manchester City player. I think Tariq kind of said it before, where it's just like I don't see what we do that he fits into, or we aren't a team that. I know that we had this thing, didn't we? It was last season, wasn't it? It was kind of like the start of last season where we were making signings that were like, oh, we're going to be like this. We're going to be like this transition team now. We're going to just live on transitions, and that's what we're going to do. And that's where we kind of found ourselves in this halfway house between what we were good at and what we were trying to do. And it turns out neither of those actually worked very well, which is why we were shit for most of for basically 18 months. And I think that Marmoush is like a player who we've signed for that transitional way of play. Obviously, we signed him because he was scoring like for fun when we did it. Like I think he was on like 20 plus goals for the season, like at the time that we bought him. And obviously, we're in a position where we had no Haaland. We desperately needed someone else who could score goals. And obviously, he did ultimately help us get Champions League football last season, which is an important thing that shouldn't really be downplayed. But in a world where we do ultimately have Haaland, there is no reason to have Marmoush. Like he isn't a player who can come in cold once every 10, 15 games when Haaland needs a rest in a cup competition and perform. Because for my money, he looks shit most of the time that you do that. I don't think he looks very good when you just drop him into a game out of nowhere. He doesn't really do an awful lot coming off the bench in general. Although having said that, in his defence, Pep usually gives him like crap minutes at the end of games. He gets like 5-10 minutes.
10 minutes is even not that lot. He doesn't.
That's been a bit generous, to be fair. Yeah, and I think, but so I just don't see why you need I just don't see why you need a 70 million signing who's on like the kind of money that Marmoush is on, if that's what you're going to do with him. Like if there is surely so many other players who would be appropriate for that kind of role that do not cost the money that Marmoush costs, that fit more into what we're actually trying to do. And yeah, and I I just don't see it. I just really don't see it with Marmoush.
I don't think anyone does. I think he'll be good. I feel a bit sorry for him, if I'm going to be honest with you. I feel it's not
his fault. It's not his fault.
And I give him credit because he did the job that we brought him in to do last season, right?
Yeah,
and to Joe's point, there wasn't a Haaland available, so we needed someone to kind of lead the line. He was scoring goals for fun in the Bundesliga, so go get the best you can in that moment, and get secured Champions League. We did all those things. Great. Okay. Now, this season, when Haaland is back, Haaland's never going to be on the bench. With the rare occasion, in the cups or something like that, I just feel like this guy is not. That's not enough for him. And if I was him, it wouldn't be enough for me. I get it. I'm not mad at him. So it just isn't a good fit as long as Haaland is healthy. If we ever started playing,
a lot.
Yeah, if we ever started playing where Haaland's going to come off, 60 minutes, or he's going to be rested once every fifth game or something like that. Okay, great. It would be a great person to have, but that's not who we are. It's not how we play, and for the way that we play, it just doesn't seem to be a good fit.
He's just someone who I only want to be the final cog of an attack and not ask him to do anything else. And in short words, that's a striker. That is just a striker. And we have the best striker in the world up top, so he's kind of a victim of circumstance. I think
it's also a bit harsh on him. That like when he gets, and this is why it's tough because I feel like I am still judging him despite this, and even though I probably shouldn't. Most of the games that he has started this season have been with 5 or 6 changes to the starting 11. Like he hasn't really played a game where it's been the normal 11 plus him instead of Haaland or something like that. So it's maybe, I think the Wolves game earlier in the season was probably the only one where he did actually score after. I think Haaland was actually had a knock for that game, didn't he? And I think was it Wolves at
No, I think
home?
He just fully got benched. That was during Jay's big bench Haaland campaign.
Oh, it was, wasn't it? Yeah, because he actually hadn't scored a goal for like 2 months or something like that. Anyway, yeah, so he came in, and yeah, he actually did score when he played with the rest of the team. And obviously, the other games where he started have been like Leverkusen in the Champions League, where like who cares? Like cup games against like Swansea and like other teams like that, where again, who cares? Even Palace in the middle of the week, like that was a pretty rotated side, and yeah, he did score. But I just think that more often I don't see him as a left winger.
That's where I was going to go. Sorry, I was going to go to
you pick it up then.
No, I think the winger part is important because I think when you bring him in, you think to yourself, he can play as a Haaland backup, he can play in place of Haaland, and he can play on that left wing, which is what we tried to play him much earlier on, and that was before Doku was kind of in the run of form that he is now. Once Doku hits this form, Marmoush isn't getting any minutes on that left side, and we tried to play him there, and it just wasn't. It's not his best fit. It kind of feels like it's a waste. I've seen people talk about, with Julian Alvarez when he was playing out of position. He was playing as that 10 or whatever, and people complained about that. It feels like he was better doing that than what I'm seeing from Marmoush. Again, I don't think you can play him out left. He hasn't shown that he's able to play on the right either. So it's really either he plays through the middle, which as a second striker, or he plays as the 9. Those just aren't going to be opportunities for him to play in those positions. So I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad player. I'm just saying that he's not going to get much minutes as long as he's at.
You know what though? I think everybody agrees with that. I don't think a lot of City fans think he's shit, because I don't think anyone on this panel does, and I know a lot of people in the chat share my opinion. I just think, like we said, we won't spend too much time on it now because we've sort of covered it. But I just think he's a good player that is, as Danny said, is a striker, but he won't play striker at this club because we've got Haaland. It's unfortunate. We've tried him on the wing, ain't really good enough. He could possibly play as a second striker, but then Cherky and Foden are better than him in that position as well. And I don't think he's creative enough. So
he's a system player, which is actually a word I don't really hate I don't really like as an insult, because I don't think it's really much of an insult. He's a system player, but that system's not our system. He could definitely thrive in a team that's not going to be facing low blocks every week, because he's been doing less of shooting from distance. I think that's the one tool he has that can really break down a low block. But even then, when he is a striker, he's not going to be doing much of that. So,
all right.
I don't expect it to be here much longer. But
No, I think you've got it. And the Egypt manager come out and said he wants him to go La Liga as well. So I think when your international manager starts chatting about it, I think you know that something's going to happen. So
yeah.
Now big up to him, man. He won't leave me saying he's shit. He just doesn't fit the team. But this is why I've said when you have players like Haaland at the football club, it's not all roses because they cause you a massive, massive problem. And that is you can't have a backup. It doesn't work. Now, this is where I think Semenyo comes into it, though, because I think for me, Semenyo is a player that can play on the wing. All right, he might not be the tidiest player on the wing or whatever, but he can also play as a striker when Haaland's not there. So he won't come in like Joe was saying. When we have dropped Marmoush into a striker position when Haaland's being rested or injured, he's not very good anyway because he's not match sharp. Whereas the difference is with Semenyo, he could play wing, he could play striker, so he'll constantly be having minutes. So I think that's probably how we'll see Semenyo develop at the club. But yeah, we'll see. Let me have a look at this super chat, man. Big up to James. He says Pep saw how they combined for the Brentford third goal and wanted more of it. However, we lost all creativity centrally. Still haven't got the best out of him. Yeah, and I don't think we ever will get the best out of him. To get the best out of Marmoush, you have to drop Haaland, and that ain't going to happen. So yeah, that's just but I hope the club realise that and don't make the same mistake in the summer, sell him and go and buy another £60 million striker. Yeah, who will have the same problem.
That's my biggest thing. Like I know that Alvarez is like a proper like unicorn signing that you're not going to get like very often, if ever at all. But like, if we're going to sign someone to be the backup to Haaland, you want to sign a young, up and coming guy, a bit like
Joe. He's the backup.
Well, yeah, but that's fair. But okay, then let's say we sign an elite winger this summer and they start every game on the right-hand side and Semenyo now becomes the Marmoush who's dropped in once every 10 games and can't do it because he's cold.
But Semenyo can play on the wing, so Semenyo can rotate with Doku, he can rotate as a right winger, and he can rotate. So at the moment, Marmoush has got one position that he can rotate with, which is never going to happen. It's Haaland.
But the plan was that it would be two, and one would be the Doku position, and Doku's mint, so he can't play there either. And I'm saying if we sign an elite winger on the right-hand side, you potentially got the same situation just developed there, just literally mirrored.
I don't think it is anywhere near the same, though, because Semenyo can play as a left winger, he can play as a striker, and he can play as a right winger. Marmoush cannot play as a left winger. He cannot play as a right winger. He can only play as a striker. So it's you're doubling the amount of you're trebling the amount of positions that you can fight for. And we all know that Doku will get injured at some point, and Doku needs to be rotated because otherwise he'll keep getting injured. So for me, even though I'm sort of like a bit sad about Marmoush going because I actually like him, I think he's a good player. I actually think this could be better for the team as a whole. I think it could be better for Doku because, we can actually use Semenyo as a legit left-wing alternative to Doku rather than just spamming out Doku and wait for his groin injury to arrive, which will happen at some point because it's Jeremy Doku and he just gets injured all the time. So I think that's the way to go anyway. But big up James, man, for whacking that in. I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
Can I just say as well, like someone's just put in the chat there. Someone's mentioned Krupe, and I was gonna say I'm not saying we signed him from Bournemouth, but I'm saying that signing that Bournemouth made, that is the type of in my ideal world, that is the type of backup to Haaland that you get. It's someone who's young, who won't be immediately expecting like 30 games a season, won't be pissed off if they're actually a backup to Haaland in the short term.
Like a Gabriel Jesus.
Like a Gabriel Jesus or an Alvarez, where they start off as a backup, they're fine with it, and then eventually they probably grow into a point where they do need to move on for the minutes they get, and that's fine because we've got plenty of great time out of them at the same time and make a profit. That's kind of my thinking. It's very Football Manager, but that's kind of my ideal scenario.
I've vocally complained about teams buying under 23 players for high price after one good season. I'm not saying get someone at a high price, but this is the one position you can afford to take a flyer on someone young, like we've done with Alvarez. Like, because they're not going to be playing all the time, and if they do well, then it's gravy, it's bonus. So,
I just wouldn't be signing anyone. I just sign a winger and use Semenyo. But that's where I'm at with it. Listen, I want to ask you guys about the man of the match, man, because I had a bit of a conversation about it towards the end of the game, and there was a bit of a debate in the chat about who it should be. I think there are a number of options. I'm just going to go around the panel. I'm going to go Danny, Joe, Tarek. Just give me the name. Don't give me the reason why, and then we'll go through each one of your reasons and why. Danny, your man of the match today. In fact, I'll start. My man of the match today was Kuzanov. Danny?
Close, but Kuzanov as well.
Okay. Joe?
Yeah, it's slim pickings, in it. I think I'd say Kuzanov.
And Tarek? You going to go different, or is going to glaze
Well,
Kuzanov for the next 20 minutes?
it was either going to be Kuzanov or Nunes. So I mean, it's probably I don't really like any of the options, but I'll take a Kuzanov. Yeah.
Who'd you pick if it wasn't one of the options? Who'd you pick if it was someone else?
No. I mean, I don't. Again, I don't think we played great. I don't know that I can look at one player and say, "Oh, that player was exceptional." I mean, of course, Semenyo gets credit because he got the goal. Holland made the pass, but nobody was like exceptional. Nobody stood out really to me. So I think Kuzanov was in a number of one-on-one situations. He won those. Sorry, you were trying to not to go into the details, but he was winning those one-on-one situations. But I think Nunes was just as good. He's really clean. He was getting forward. So I liked Nunes as well, but I wasn't like super impressed all around.
The reason I give it Kuzanov, right, is because I think he bailed us out a number of times. I think Gay was very good, and to be honest with you, I think I'd have Gay a very, very, very close second. And as you can see from the poll down there, make sure you guys are voting on the poll. Just type 1, 2, 3, or 4 in the chat and send it in for your vote. The chat are obviously very close. I just think the difference between Gay and Kuzanov, whilst I'm not saying Gay didn't do it at all, but the amount of times that Kuzanov bailed us out with sort of like pace basically and getting blocks and that sort of stuff and stopping 1v1s was just, I think that was the thing that did it for me. I just think Kuzanov, and his game wasn't flawless, by the way. He gave the ball away a number of times. He had a bit of a 5-minute period where he just kept on giving the ball away. But I just think overall, I think Kuzanov for me today. Who got the official man of the match, by the way?
I think Gay did. I want to say Gay did.
If you said to me, LB, I think it should be Gay, I wouldn't argue with you. I think if you said anybody else, I probably would push back on that. But I think for me, the two centre-backs today were very, very good. João Pedro, I was talking about this with Don and Charlie on the previews yesterday that got uploaded. I think João Pedro's a very, very difficult player to defend against. The way that he moves, left wing, right wing, drop deep, in behind, he's not an easy player to defend against. He's very busy, he's very active, and you've got to keep your wits about you, otherwise you've lost him. And I think the two centre-backs did that very good today.
We notably had trouble with him as well in the last 2 times we played him. He was floating around a lot. He was dragging Rodri around. And today the centre-backs were very, very disciplined. And even when Chelsea got joy on the break, it's good to have someone with pace who can catch up to him, even if he's floating out to the left. Because I think Kuzanov himself tackled him 2 or 3 times. And the way he defends too, back at Lons, he had a problem going to ground a bunch. Today, he held his ground. He engaged in shoulder-to-shoulder challenges. And I didn't really think he committed any fouls that Chelsea fans claimed were fouls. So
I don't think any. Honestly, I'm not being biased here. Well, the game's done. It don't matter if I'm being biased or not. I could say it. I genuinely don't think any of them were penalties. And the tackle that he got booked for, it wasn't even a foul.
It was not
a
exactly
brilliant tackle. So I just think all round he had a great game. Like I say, a couple of loose passes. And you know what, right? I wish Semenyo would have let him took that fucking free kick as well. Honestly, in my head, I was like, you remember Alex for Chelsea when he...
I was about to say Alex or David Luiz, one of them too.
Yeah, Alex or David Luiz, man. I thought to myself, this is like 35, 40 yards out here. Let Kuzanov put his foot through this, man. And then Semenyo went up and done some stupid shot. And I thought, that should have been a centre-back powering it through. But I don't know, Tariq. I mean, Kuzanov's development, he's been here now, about 13, 14 months at the football club. What have you made of his development, man? Because I still think, even though we glaze him, and I glaze him all the time, I still think there's areas of his game to sort of like work on and develop. Obviously, he's still very young, but like, what have you made of his development over the sort of like last 14 months?
Yeah, I think that as far as defensively, he's still a stalwart. He's very good defensively. Of course, his pace, we talked about all that. I just think he's continuing to grow. He's like you said, he's not perfect. He's young. He will continue to get better. I think he's better on the ball than maybe I gave him credit for in the beginning. I didn't realize that he actually started as a midfielder and then moved back to now again he's playing as a midfielder in where is he from?
Uzbekistan.
That's probably not saying much, but that's what I read, that he started as a midfielder. So that explains it when I see him make some passes or I see him do things on the ball. I'm like, oh, I didn't know he had that in his locker. So I'm seeing him grow. I'm seeing him get better. I'm seeing more from him today than I thought I saw when he first came. And that's what you want. He doesn't have to be the finished article right now. But I don't think he's far away. He's got, you could say that some of the tackles are rash, or you could say, oh, he gets in. I mean, he rides the line very, very close, like as far as the line between what's you're allowed to do, not allowed to do. He's on that line. He rides it very tightly, but more times than not, it's not a foul. He's doing the right thing. So I want to.
That's what makes him so special, Tariq. That just, I completely agree. That aggressiveness.
Yeah.
And that riding the line. That's what makes him so special. And I just think,
I'm afraid we're going to coach it out of him. That's what I was going to say. I'm afraid we're going to try to coach it out of him.
He'll be nothing like you think he's going to be. What makes Abdulkadir Kuzanov so special is that as 100%, he's super aggressive, which I think this defense needed after last year's shambolic situation at the back. Yeah, and obviously there are areas of his game which he doesn't need to be so rash on. So I've already said, if I was the manager, I say to him, if you're going to close down a player and they've got their back to goal, don't touch him. For example, he's done that a couple of times where like a player will have the ball on the touchline and they're facing their own net or they're facing the fans with the ball and he just goes and clatters them over.
Yeah, Nunes used to do that all last season.
Yeah.
And he's actually cleaned it up as well.
Listen, if the attacker's got the ball on the edge of our penalty area and you think the best thing to do is take them out or go sliding in, no problem. Just like the other ones that are unnecessary. You know, when a player makes a foul and you go, why'd you do that for? Like them type of ones. But like the ones that are like 50-50, that's what makes him so special. But I already think that those sort of like rash ones, those unnecessary fouls are already reducing from his game. I think when you compare it to last season, he was sort of just taking everybody out. I already think he's starting to improve on that. You've already seen his driving the ball out from the back, the John Stones-esque runs. That has massively been implemented into his game this year. I just think for me, next season, ride with him. Start him in the starting 11 and give him a whole season, and I think he could be levels. I think he could be the best centre back in the world within the next 2 years. I genuinely believe.
You said ride with him as your starting centre back next season. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I agree. I don't think he will. I think he'll bench him.
I think when you have Vardiol coming back, he's going to be on the left side. When he was back, we saw Gahey move over to the right. I think that's what's going to happen next season. We're going to have Gahey on the right, Gavardiol on the left. And then, either Nunes and
Can
Nico
I
Riley.
Offer another suggestion? I think that Gvardiol's going to become one of our left backs again. Nico Riley's going to move into midfield, and then it leaves a space open then for Gahey plus one of Kuzanov or Diaz to sort of play as the centre backs. I think.
Yeah, that's what I said from the beginning, that I thought, you could get them all on the pitch together. But I don't know.
I don't hate it. I don't even hate like the idea of like you just have a back four of Gvardiol, Gahey, Diaz, and Kuzanov at right back. I don't hate that. Like that could be worse.
I don't want that. There's
roll back to treble season.
I think our left back depth is too good to have Vardiol forced in as a left back. I don't think he's forced in. Like I think he's better. This could sound mental. I don't know. But I personally think that I've never seen Gvardiol put in a centre back performance as good as I've seen his left back performances. Like I think Gvardiol's been so good at left back.
Yeah, I was having this conversation with the chat the other night about Gvardiol and where you play him next year. And I think as a centre back, he's a very good, solid, top five in the world when he's on his day, centre back. But you lose so much of his attacking threat when he's at centre back. When he goes forward, he's unbelievable. When he goes forward, left foot, right foot, the positions that he takes up. And I just think that, but it's a very difficult one because then O'Reilly won't play next season if Gavardiol plays.
We're seeing that we're getting that from Nico O'Reilly. So,
and then where does that leave Ait-Nouri?
See, yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. We've got two great left backs as it is. Like, I feel like I'd start with them at left center back, and if we truly struggle to score goals, maybe it's something to try. But
that's a good idea.
I just like Vardiol.
Do you think that Gavardiol offers more in the attack than what Nico O'Reilly offers? I don't.
Yeah. Well, it's difficult to say because this Doku O'Reilly link up at the moment is exceptional.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And
so
I'm not sure.
It's a similar sort of bag, but I actually think O'Reilly's probably a better crosser. That might be a bold claim, but.
And I like when, because even on the underlap, when Nico comes inside, because maybe Doku has stayed out on the wing, and Doku getting the ball in that, because he's been that 10, he's been that midfielder. I like him getting the ball in those spaces. Not to say that I don't like it when Gavardiol gets the ball, but I personally think that Nico O'Reilly has more to offer in the attack than
He does a lot more like he can overlap and he can underlap as well.
Yeah, he's more versatile.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to the centre backs, like I think the problem that you have is if you don't play Kuzanov, even if you do play Gvardiol, look, Gvardiol's a bit of a physical specimen, but he's not got the pace of Kuzanov, and literally nobody in our back four does, and that's the problem. So if you don't, and I'm not being funny, but how many Premier League teams can you name that don't have a pacey forward in the side? Yeah. That's probably
everyone has it now. Even Burnley
exactly. So at that point, are we in a position where, in a world where we have no Kyle Walker playing every single week, like no prime Kyle Walker, like can you possibly not play Kuzanov and not just get caught out with the same shit that we got caught out with all last season?
So. Well, I'm going to tell you this. I think Chelsea probably score a goal today if Kuzanov doesn't play. Because
100% they do.
I agree.
Yeah, probably.
There's nothing that Gay can do about that because he's not as fast as Kuzanov. There's nothing Gvardiol can do. There's certainly nothing Diaz can do about that. So, like, you are guaranteeing me that we are going to concede those goals where the ball's punted over the top and we don't play them offside when Kuzanov's not in. Oh, not guaranteed, but like
they're going to get shots. Yeah,
they're going to get shots via 1v1 opportunities when Kuzanov's not in the side because there's no one there to use the pace to get back and stop it. And
this is the thing that we've just got to do that. Yeah, this is the thing that we've taken for granted so much over the last decade because we've always had Kyle Walker to just sort of like make those chances. You know, 75, 80, 85% of those chances that come through from like, you know, a counter attack or like a ball over the top or something, they do get cut out by a Kyle Walker. And we're now in a position where if we don't have Kuzanov, those chances like never get cut out. Like maybe you know, maybe a handful of them do get cut out, but realistically, like Kuzanov, like Gay's not got the pace to recover that. Diaz certainly doesn't. Gvardiol maybe against some wingers and forwards, but against the true pacey ones, like no. And I think that another thing to consider is that, funny enough, someone just literally messaged me right now to sort of say, if we've got a goalkeeper who's rooted to his goal line and is not a confident sweeper, you need a defender who is going to be able to cover that ground because if we're going to play Donnarumma every week and if he's staying, he ain't a sweeper. He's not coming out and like clearing up those balls where it's like a 50-50 chance like Ederson used to. All the ones that Kyle Walker didn't get, Ederson would just eat them up and it'd be done. So yeah, if we're committed to Donnarumma being our goalkeeper from here on out, we need defenders that can cut those opportunities out. So like if it's not Kuzanov, then I don't see who it is unless the right back that we sign this summer, if we sign a right back, is some mad pacey guy who can effectively just replace what Kyle Walker did. But I don't think that guy even exists.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think for me, the centre-back partnership that I would go for next year is Gvardiol and Kuzanov. I think that's what I would go for. I think that's the highest ceiling centre-back partnership we have at the football club. And that, for me, is why I choose it. Because it's the highest ceiling that we've got. Martin wants to join. He said, we're talking shit. What are you saying, Martin?
You lot are playing Kuzanov FC at the minute.
How are we playing Kuzanov FC? Explain. We've been pretty objective.
No, we haven't.
Of course,
you're moving our best centre back over to left back. You've ditched O'Reilly out for some weird reason now.
No,
that's crazy.
No. Only Joe was doing that. That wasn't a.
I just throw Joe under the bus.
I know, yeah, Jesus Christ, what you doing with Anderson and Rodri? They just going to rotate around.
No, Anderson.
Is Rodri going to be here
Well,
next season? Martin?
I'm sure. Last time I was on here, Martin, you were saying Rodri wouldn't be here next
That's what
season.
I'm saying.
So what's
He's
that?
gonna be here.
Well,
You're right. You're right. You did say that.
yeah, until he signs, I agree. But at the minute, he's going to be here. I've got to talk like he's here.
Okay. Right. Okay. And worst case scenario, then there's going to be some rotation with Gvardiol and or Nico
Trust
O'Reilly
me now,
and or
Josko Gvardiol
Yeah.
is getting 280 grand a week and a new contract because all the top clubs want him. He ain't been rotated nowhere. You need to Josko Gvardiol's our
well, in
best.
that case,
How much
in that case, then
Gahey's not being rotated? Because how much is Gahey on?
Well, this is what I'm saying. This is where we're going to have the problem next year with this backline. But it'll be a nice problem. Be a very nice problem.
Well, in that case, welcome to Cousinov right back FC.
If Pep is here, it doesn't matter how much.
They're looking at a right back as well.
Marmouche makes $1 billion or £1 billion, whatever it is, but at the end of the day, he doesn't play because Pep doesn't think he's the best player for that position.
No. Listen, I'm not disputing the Cousinov stuff. I'm disputing why we're moving Josko Gvardiol around all of a sudden.
That was just me. That was just me. That was just my way of sort of saying you can do all three.
But not really. You can't. Not without destroying O'Reilly. And O'Reilly's, for me, borderline player of the season.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
And now we're benching him.
But then, Martin, what do you? Okay, so let's say we do that. Then let's say that is not a thing anymore. Then so we're not playing Cousinov in this back line because we've got undroppable Gvardiol, we've got undroppable Nico O'Reilly, and we've got undroppable Gaya, who's on like 300 grand a week because of the terms that we've signed him on. And obviously,
no. I'm not saying they won't. I'm saying they just rotate. They'll have to find it out on form.
Well, but then what about the games where Cousinov doesn't start, where we're coming up against like a pacey forward line going the other way, and suddenly.
But that's football, Joe. No, Cousinov is not going to play some. And by the way, you've also forgotten Ruben Diaz in all this.
He's my fourth.
Oh yeah, I know.
No, we didn't forget him. He's not in the conversation for those top three.
He's fourth choice centre back at City.
Well, all right. I disagree with that as well.
What's your centre back partner?
How long's he been back for? How long's he been back fit for? And he hasn't got a sniff of minutes since he's coming back in. I don't think. Well, he's been on the bench for a few games. He hasn't dropped straight back in like he would have done back in the day. I don't think the idea that Diaz is behind Gray and
Cousinov's been excellent.
What's your centre back partnership, Martin? Next year.
Who I think he'll start the season with?
No. Who would you want?
This is yours.
Oh, mine.
Yeah.
At the moment, I'm going O'Reilly, Gvardiol. It's a toss-up between Gay and Cousinov and Nunes. I'm not moving O'Reilly.
That's basically what we're saying, yeah.
No, I'm not. No, I wasn't saying that. No, Danny, the way you lot were talking was Cousinov was automatically in and couldn't be dropped because Matt Gay was the best defender today. Well, you're talking waffle. Matt Gay was man of the match today.
He was automatically in for me.
Yeah, it was because you watched the game with Cousinov sunglasses on. That's why.
Well, I think to LB's point, there is something that Cousinov offers that nobody else in our center backs at least offer, which is just that pace. We can say, well, Nunes is fast, Nunes is rapid, and I agree with that. He is. However, Nunes is so often so far up the pitch that his pace is negated. When we had Kyle Walker typically didn't get very far up the pitch because he didn't offer anything in those positions. So he was kind of more playing as that, center back, in a three at the back. And so he was able to get back. Nunes isn't in those positions most of the time. So you need a Cousinov to do that. Because even like today, he was beating people to the spot by a half a step. If he's a half a step slower, those are penalties.
I agree.
It depends. I mean, I don't agree with the yellow card. Thought it was a foul. Now I've seen it back.
It wasn't a foul.
I said I don't even know about the yellow card.
He catches his leg. Out.
No, I think the yellow card was a yellow card.
He just catches him on the follow through.
Is it the one that happened out wide? If I remember.
Yeah, catches him on the follow through.
That was it.
See, I didn't see.
Yeah, no, he does.
The foul.
LB, you can get booked you can win the ball and still hurt someone on a follow through.
You say he came through? Okay.
Well, that Enzo Fernandez when he should have been sent off then.
Yes.
I agree. What was a red card?
Maybe it should have been yellow.
I'm not disputing that. I'm just asking. Listen, I think Kushnov's been excellent, 100%. But I'm pushing back on the undroppable part.
I'm just not sure why he's not. I just don't get why he's given the skills. No, but you're saying he's not undroppable because we have other defenders, like, and they're on big money. But like in terms of his skill set and what he actually gives us. But in terms of his skill set and what he brings us, which is ultimately the recovery pace that we've long since been able to just be complacent with the fact
we'll just go inside Usain Bolt then, Joe. Let's go and buy you. You're going to buy you.
That's not that. But no, because Usain Bolt can't defend, but Kuznov can. Like that's the point. Like at the end, like we've been able to not worry about having quick defenders for 7, 8, 9 years.
I'm not going to disrespect a world-class centre back, one of the best centre backs in the league this year, and one who has been. I'm not going to do that for Utah FC.
But
other people can do that.
What? That does not. Do you know that it's possible to think one player is good without disrespecting the other alternative? Like that is possible.
But,
like I can think.
Gavardiol's also said he doesn't want to play left back.
Okay.
That's
so he plays alongside Kuznov then. Sick. Like that's fine.
And then that's fine, but no, it was the point I'm saying is you said undroppable. Not undroppable.
I think his skill set and what he brings us in the way that we play, if we're going to carry on playing with the way that we do with Pep Guardiola, and if let's say Maresca comes in, who's just like turbo Guardiola, who's going to do the same thing but like even more risky, how can you possibly do that without a player who has what Kuznov does going the other way? It's impossible. We're going to get otherwise. We're just going to get exposed and counted on so many times, like we did all season last season. That's going to just happen again if we don't have Kuznov in the side, and that's not me saying that he's therefore inherently better than every other alternative that exists at the club. Like you're right, he's probably not the best defender at the club, but I just don't see. I think if you don't have him in that back four, you've lost something that literally nobody else brings. That's my problem. That's why I think it's undroppable. It's not because I think he's better than everyone. It's not because I think he's the number one player.
Like you said before, Joe, it's his skill set.
That's fine. I just disagree with it.
So then, what's your solution to this? What's your solution to every ball that goes over the top that no one's going to be able to recover next season?
But was we not doing that when Diaz and Gavardio were the back four before?
Yes, and we were getting exposed because of it.
Yeah. That's what we had.
We weren't.
I remember those early season matches.
We weren't, Danny, because we weren't conceding a lot of goals.
We were conceding chances. You remember the Newcastle game at home? Diaz got booked because he wasn't quick enough to stop a counter. He brought Kuznov on at half time. It wasn't.
So that's what I mean. But we can't say we can't concede chances. It's Premier League football.
No, I agree we can concede chances, but the volume of chances we concede goes dramatically down when you take away the ball over the top.
But I thought you look from October, November, December, we won like 8-9 games on the bounce, and that was with Diaz and Gavardio.
Yeah, and we were conceding goals.
That's my part. I don't see how that suddenly become a shit backline when we weren't actually conceding.
No, you're getting it wrong. No one's saying it's shit. We're just saying it's best suited to change.
But Joe said, how do we cope? Well, we coped for 3 months.
Right, since Diaz since Gaya and Kuznov has been the back two, we've not lost. It's been 8 wins and 3 draws. Like that is better than what was before. That is a fact.
I'm not disputing that.
But you are. You're saying that like the reason I'm saying that. But you're okay. So you said that you said that it was still good before this season. Let's say hypothetically, and it was. But those are the games that have lost. Obviously, Everton is probably the reason why we've lost the title ultimately, because that happened during title running time.
And Diaz and Gavardio weren't playing then.
No, but the shit points that we dropped earlier in the season, fucking Spurs, all these other games that we had leads and we bottled. That wasn't Kuznov and Gaya. That was other centre back partnership.
So John, who you dropping to the bench? Who's dropping to the bench for you?
I think you start Kuznov and then the others can fight it out. I'd probably pick Vardiol personally, but I think if it's him fighting out with Gay and Diaz is there as fourth choice, as LB said, then fine. There will ultimately be plenty of games for everyone over the course of the season. But if I'm having a first choice pairing, I'm probably picking Kuznov and Gvardiol because they're the two that have had the most sort of physicality and recovery pace out of everyone. And I think that that's going to be very, very important we've seen in the Premier League that it is important. And I think that matters personally.
Right, so if you're going to Anfield or Real Madrid or Emirates early on in the season, your backline's Gvardiol, Kushner.
Yeah,
because they're the players in front.
Yeah.
Just so you know then what's going to happen later on in the season.
What's that, mate?
Diaz especially probably moan and say, see, I'm out.
No problem, bye-bye.
Mate, if he doesn't want to fight for a spot, then
Gay will do. No, because Danny, top players don't just want to sit on a bench. We've been saying this about Mamouche, Nico G, Reinders. Fine.
I thought you were all if he's open to beard and off you pop, Martin. I thought that was your mentality with players.
Joe wasn't expected after 6 months.
What? Oh, do you mean? Sorry, you talking about like Gay if he decides?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I didn't think the fresh car smell would wear off from Matt Gay in 6 months.
Well, I mean, yeah. To be
fair, you know what I mean? I thought, Jesus, he get a little bit more respect than 6 months.
We also have but we also have no guarantee.
When he was man of the match today.
We actually have, but someone's got to get dropped, and whoever gets dropped, it's going to be incredibly harsh. Whether it's
I'm just saying, find it out. That I'm pushing back on the undroppables part because that's where it will cause problems down the line. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Fight it out, but when you say you're undroppable, that is where you're going to piss people off. I mean, they've only been here 6 months.
Yeah, but that's just us, isn't it? That's just us.
Stinkers, then obviously drop him. But like overall, if he's not dropping stinkers and he's playing well, his pace is that skill set is undroppable. If he's playing shit, then obviously drop him. But I don't think that's going to happen. He's been here.
Also, us saying on a panel here that we think Cousinov and what he brings is undroppable is not the same as Pep turning around to the team and saying, right, you see this Cousinov guy, you see this little Uzbekistan guy here, he's undroppable, and Gayed, Gvardiol and Diaz, you're all going to have to live with that. Like that's obviously never going to happen, is it?
Exactly.
Like, it's fine.
I'm just debating the point because the point is you also got to remember Pep doesn't rotate his back line a lot.
Well, yeah,
the one area he doesn't do a lot. So they've got 70 games will rotate. When you actually look at the percentage of it, it's not very high.
But then on the other hand, look at Gay, for example. Like he signed in January, knowing full well that Diaz and Gvardiol are two centre backs that already exist at the club. Like he cannot have come in and expected, I'm going to get every game. I'm going to be the starting centre back forever, and those two guys.
He did come in for a lot because that's why he had so much competition for his name. I think he expects competition, but I don't think he was like talking third, fourth choice competition. Because then he might as well have just gone to Liverpool or to Bayern Munich or wherever else.
That's why I always thought he would go to Liverpool, because they look like they were in pretty desperate need. Like he'd walk into their starting 11 straight off the bat, whereas here it's not so guaranteed.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not. Kushner's been bloody excellent. I'm not going to. Kushner's been absolutely superb. For me, this will be the biggest problem for next season is this defending situation, and we've not even talked Victor Hayes yet.
Well, it's a great
problem to have.
It's a mint problem to have compared to last year.
Oh, but by the way, to answer you, Semenyo got man of the match at the stadium.
Oh, did he? All right. Fair play to him.
Semenyo got man of the match, and for me it was Mark Gay man of the match, and then Kushner second. But I did think Semenyo was very good actually today.
Martin, do you know what Nico cool guys here say Nico G should leave this summer? Do you know what's going on? Was he fit today, Martin? What do you know about that?
Yes, fully fit. He was fully fit. He was there with his tracksuit. He was fully fit. He was fully fit last game. It's just like Pep said.
Apparently, the British commentator said that he was injured.
No, he wasn't. Pep confirmed there was no injuries.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, it's back to what he said after Palace. He prefers Bernardo right now in that role, and then he had Rodri, and then Bernardo went there, and then by the way, big up to Kovacic today.
He was great.
He's a Rolls Royce of a footballer, and I think I feel sorry for Nico J, but I think Nico J's problem is not he's a bad player. He doesn't suit a Pep tiki-taka system. He suits a Pep, Linda's Pep, Guardiola transitional system. I don't think he suits a tiki-taka system.
I don't
Which
know
is why
about
Pep keeps saying he moves the ball slower. It's no good in that system.
I'm not 100% sure about he don't fit the team. I don't think he doesn't not fit the team. He's obviously not as good as Rodri, but no one's as good as Rodri. Whoever we get in after Rodri is not going to be
Is he as good as Kovacic, the way he played today?
What, in terms of moving the ball? No, not in terms of moving the ball. No, he's not.
Then that's the problem. Then he's never going to get the 6 role at City then.
But there's other things that he does that I think he's maybe better than some of those other players.
100%.
Yeah. So I think if you're only looking at one attribute or one skill, yeah, maybe he is less. But I think overall, I don't know that it's that big of a.
It doesn't matter what I think. From what I've been told,
it matters what Pep thinks.
He only sees him as a 6. He doesn't see him as an 8. He only sees him as
what works while Rodgers at the football club,
which is not going to work. That's the point. So this is the problem. Pep only sees you as a 6. You don't.
This is kind of the weird thing though, where it's like, when he was playing for that 2 months or so in the season, where he was actually like, where Roger was out and it was just Nico G every week, like. I don't remember loads of people saying, "Oh, but he's shit," or like, "Oh, but he's not good at he's not good enough. He's not able to play a Pep system," all this stuff like that. And that's not. It's not just you've been saying that, Matt. I've seen loads of people saying that recently as well since he's sort of been dropped again. And obviously the games where in the last month or so Rodri's not been available for whatever reason, and Nico G just hasn't played anyway. Like it's suddenly become like the thing now that Nico G's somehow not rated and like hasn't actually been that good this season, but. For 2 months, he was mint. Like we were at a point where we thought we'd actually genuinely found like a Rodri replacement of some description, and instead, like now we're at the point where we can actually rotate Rodri out. Or then it got to the point where he obviously picked up this recent injury for a couple of weeks. It's just like all that stuff that he'd done earlier in the season has just been totally forgotten now, and it's like he's no longer even in Pep's thinking. Like he'd rather play a double pivot of Bernardo and Nico O'Reilly in centre mid. He'd rather play basically anybody else in centre mid instead of Nico G, to the point where he's not even in the squad for Palace, which is mental. Like that's the bit that I can't get my head around. That he's just it's not that he isn't starting. It's that he's somehow rated so low that he's not even in the squad. And like today we had like 3 centre backs on the bench. Like why when you've got like Nico G not in the squad for the day? I just don't understand. That's the bit that I can't get my head around.
Did you, Martin, have you heard anything about these Atletico Madrid rumours? Yeah,
they're in for him. Atletico, Inter Milan, Porto, and there's someone else.
He's definitely gone here. He's so gone.
Listen, I think he's a decent player. The problem is, and you've got to look at it from a tactical point of view. When we were playing with him as that 6, we were playing more narrow. So that was when you had your wingers coming in, and we weren't playing out and out wingers, and we were moving the ball a bit more direct, a bit quicker, a bit more direct. It changed when Rodri came back in January. Pep went back to his. Because if you remember those games Nico G was playing, I think we had, was it 4 or 5 games where we had some of the lowest possession we'd had in 3 or 4 years.
And I'm not sure how intentional that was, though. To say that's completely intentional is probably...
Well, when it's 4 or 5 games on the bounce, I think it is intentional then at that point.
Well, I don't think we intentionally give the ball to the opposition so they can dominate possession. I think that's a bit...
See, I do think that. I do think we were doing that. I think we were playing counter football and we were catching people on the break. At Liverpool at home, United at home, we were doing it. I think there was even a lower league team. I'd say a lower team in the league that was out possessioning us at home.
Yeah,
because we were just Bournemouth. That was it. Bournemouth at home. Because he was bringing Haaland close to the back line, the ball was going on the top, and Haaland was going into a more one-on-one situation. Now, that only works when your opposition plays their back line high up.
Yeah.
Because when the opposition plays the back line high up, you can give up possession, wait for the error, ping the ball straight away and get through for Haaland one-on-one, which Bournemouth was the great example. Cherky got the ball, quick ball over the top, and Haaland's through.
Yeah, fine. But like
that's what he was doing.
The Arsenal game that we drew, for example, that was not intentional. You cannot convince me.
I don't think he was doing it then. It came in that sort of 2 or 3 months. Because Rodri was kind of if you remember, Rodri was in and out at the start, and then he got re-injured at the Brentford away game that we won 1-0.
Yeah, I remember.
You know, so
I'll tell you what.
I think Nico G's a good player.
Yeah, he's a good player.
It's just a shame. I don't. It's a shame, and he probably deserves football. And even if Rodri does go, I still think they'll go out and buy someone.
Yeah, they definitely will. If Pep doesn't rate him at this point, then yeah.
Well, I think we need.
I think he rates him, Joe. I don't think he rates him at the job. I think he rates him as a footballer, just not as at the job that he wants.
Yeah.
Go and get Bruno G and Anderson. Go and get them both.
Do you know what? That's what we should have done. Because this is where I disagreed with it at the time, but now I agree with this. We spent 110 million on 2 midfielders. Why didn't we just trigger the Bruno release clause for 100 and get it done out of the way?
140 if you include Phillips.
Well, that's what I mean. Well, 150, 160 if you're including Phillips.
Yep, which is what I said
so
at the time.
You should have just triggered Bruno's release clause at 100.
Which is what I said at the time. We're now 140.
And then you wouldn't have had to have done all this up and down.
Twice.
The problem is
we bought 4 times now. Never mind twice. We're on 4 times.
The problem is with Rodri as well, with this Nico G thing as well, is that it's even if Rodri stays this summer, okay, let's say he goes, I think we're probably at the point where Nico G's thinking, I'm not trusted by Pep anyway, so I'm going to go. And then obviously, so if Rodri goes this summer, we then have to buy someone else. And then even if he doesn't, even if Rodri stays, we're going to have to buy someone else in a couple of years regardless. And we could be watching Nico G smashing it for Atletico Madrid or whoever it is that he's gone to, thinking, God, we could really do with a guy like that, couldn't we? And instead he's over there doing it. So I think that's just the more frustrating thing about the Nico G thing is that it feels like, based on the evidence of what we've seen this season in him playing as the 6 for that run that he did have when Rodri wasn't here, we have someone who is more than capable of doing that. But just because for whatever reason, well, I say for whatever reason, it's understandable why Pep will just never, ever, ever drop Rodri, like ever, if he's fit. Then we're in a position where like Nico G won't get a look in, but then also the fact that Nico G now won't get a look in, even if Rodri's not available. Well, then it's like you're just literally saying to the guy who could be the Rodri replacement, like, please leave, because you're giving him no reason to stay, which is the most frustrating thing for me. So, yeah, when in 18 to 24 months' time, exactly, and that's and to not start is one thing, but to not even make the match day squad is like that feels like a message being sent rather than just. I know that we've got a big squad now when everyone's fit, and that means that some people do have to miss out.
Having Kovacic back meant that one of them had to go, so it was Nico G.
But I just think that today, when you look at the bench that we had out today, like you've got Nathan Ake on the bench, who like what if you've got Stones on the bench, Ake on the bench, and who was the other person who's on the bench as well? There's another one. Diaz. Another defender is on the bench. Yeah, Diaz. Yeah, so you've got 3 centre-backs on the bench. Like, why do all 3 of those need to be on the bench? Stones and Diaz. Yeah, fair enough. Ake, you need another midfielder on the bench.
Unless he was actually injured. I think the commentator said he was injured, but
who was injured?
No. Apparently, I don't know because I don't listen to commentary. Someone in the chat on my watch along said the commentator just said Nico G is actually injured for the game, not that he's just not been picked. But in the last game, Pep said he is fit, he's just not been picked. So that means he would have got injured in training.
And he said pre-game there was no injuries.
And Martin said pre-game he said there was no injuries. So
and yeah, none of the like City Extra and none of the others aggregators have picked up.
No, yeah, I've not seen anything on it either.
Or anything like that.
It's very strange.
I think the commentator's guessed. I think he's guessed LB.
Maybe they've just guessed. No,
I think the Stones and Ake thing was if we get up far enough, I think Pep wanted to bring them on for effectively their last appearance, which I think is why we saw Stones and Bernardo, and then Ake was right there when they lifted the trophy. They were all right there because I think Pep is trying to give them that send off that they can, go off into the sunset with.
Yeah. By the way, John Stones is going to be on the bench for the last 2 games now. John Stones is just going to get his send off now for the next 2 games. He's not coming off the bench.
Yeah, of course, as he should.
Yeah.
I mean, we were even surprised he went up because I was like, who's lifting the trophy with Bernardo? Because my eyes are no good. It was a good job to show it on the big screen because I wouldn't have got a second clue who Bernardo was lifting that with. But I think Stones has done an interview saying he wasn't expecting it.
Wasn't expecting to lift the trophy, or
I don't think he was, because the idea was the captain lifts it.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Normally it's just one person, but
that was cool though, man. I can't lie. I like to see that, man. That was nice.
That made me a bit emotional.
Yeah, that was
Listen,
nice.
We already know they've got a big send-off planned for Stones and Bernardo. Because by the way, that video was for Bernardo, the trophies and all that they're putting out. Which means I'm now going to be at the Villa game till about midnight with all these bloody goodbyes and everything else we're doing.
Yeah, no.
Are we getting a Pep goodbye, Martin? Is that happening?
Well, he said he's staying one more year today. So,
do you believe it though?
Well, TNT asked him apparently, and he pissed off very quickly.
Yeah, and he walked. He's
what someone's been told, so I don't know.
Yeah,
he said what rumors? He said what rumors, and then walked off.
Yeah, they said that there's rumors that you're leaving. Can you say anything about that? And he just said, "What rumors?" And they said the rumors that you're going. And he just said, "Have a lovely evening," and just like put the thing down and just walked off. That's.
I have a.
He also glazed Maresca as well. Did you hear him?
Yes, apparently yes.
Yeah. Did you hear?
Well, I'll be honest. Tone WhatsApp me that.
Weird.
Tone WhatsApp me and went, "He's glazing Maresca." I went, "What?"
He fucking started talking about Maresca. Yeah, bro. The guy.
Yeah, because he's shitting with us all. He's absolutely shitting with us all, and you know he is.
Exactly what he's doing here. By the way, he's playing games with us, man. Yeah, no. The guy was like, "Yo, like, what are you making of Chelsea?" And the guy was like, "Oh, their defense and midfield is so good. Maresca got them playing so well." Maresca left 5 months ago, bro. What is he on about? Colwell's coming.
The guy's glazing it.
Bro, honestly, man, I think Pep's just on the wind up, man. We know that Pep's on social media and he's seen all the City fans fucking lose their shit because of all these rumors. I think he's doing it on purpose, man.
Yeah, which is why I still think he's going to leave.
You know the only
I
thing
didn't think so before, but I think he is.
No, I don't think so. I don't think he said what he said in that interview. Yeah, if he's going, man.
But why is his guy of 15 years leaving him in his last year? Just stay and do the 16th year and go out together. Why go at 15
it's like
years?
two assistants, right? Isn't it two of them?
Yeah, but the goalkeeping coach is a bit of a what's it? I already knew.
They might want to get off though, man. They've been here ages.
Just do one more year.
Yeah, but I find that weird that they wouldn't do one more year if he's going to do the whole thing. And also, I'm not being funny, but in the BBC interview where he gets asked if he's staying and he says yes, like as if he's going to announce that he's leaving in a random BBC like pre-match interview. Like obviously he's going to say that. Obviously he's going to say the sort of the safe yes, and even then he gets asked and he goes yep. And then when she asks him to elaborate, you'll be here next season. He goes look. I'm here now. I'm here now. I'm going to be here at the end of this season. That's not very committal for next year, in my opinion, personally.
All right, well, Joe, can I just play conspiracy theory for 1 minute? And Danny's going to hate me because he hates conspiracy theories. Why have they announced a parade? And it's not just no normal parade.
Oh, but the Co-op Live event as well.
It is a parade.
Yeah, but I've said they should do that all the time.
Yeah, hang on. All of our other parades have ended at Deansgate.
Yeah.
All of them. This one's ending at the Etihad.
Good, because if we fucking finally listen to me and do what we should be doing.
Oh,
yeah, but
the
the point is though that they've never done it before, and it's a very
we've got an after party at the Co-op.
Yeah, it's a very convenient time to have this be the first time they ever do that.
So you think because they're doing that, it's because they need something special for
for an FA Cup and a Carabao Cup? It's not like we won one of the.
I mean, you could throw the women in there, but that's a different conversation.
No, the women are in it, Tariq. The women, the youth
as well,
because they got at least one, maybe two trophies too.
Yeah,
they could have two.
They're not doing.
Girls were just one.
But they're not doing a Co-op Live event for the under-18s Youth Cup and the women, are they? Like it's because of something bigger than that, and that
it's £12, and it's not free. £12.
Yeah, it screams to me that there's a reason why they're doing. There's a big thing to celebrate at the end of it.
So if Maresca comes out on stage, man,
it could.
Can I just break some news? It may have been announced. This just people in the chat when they go. The parade and the Co-op Live are not two separate, not separate You can't do both.
Yeah,
if you get tickets for the Co-op Live, you can't do the parade outside. If you do the parade outside, you can't do the Co-op Live party. It's right all the
how does that determine?
So the last entry into the Co-op Live is at like 5 p.m., which is like when this parade will start, I think. So you can't get into.
So
the arena after the start.
Watch the parade. Yeah, the latest entry is 5 p.m. That's why it's ticketed, and you've got to pay. You watch the parade on the big screens inside the Co-op Arena. Then they come back, go to the Colin Bell stand, do their big finale there with all the people who followed it. Then they're coming into the Co-op Arena, and then that will just be privated. That's not going to be on any screens. It might be on City TV on YouTube, but it won't be anything.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, they might just live stream it.
Which one are you choosing, Joe? The
Me?
Parade or the inside the stadium?
You can't beat a parade. Parade's a mint. That's what I'll be going to.
LB, what are you choosing?
I'm gonna be on the fucking beach, mate.
LB will do a watch along.
I do a watch along on a fucking beach drinking my Estrella Galicia because I'll be in Spain. I'm not in the fucking country.
So, Martin, which one are you choosing?
I'm going to the Co-op Live.
If you think it's a big deal because maybe Pep is leaving or whatever, and then you want to.
Well, I'm going to Co-op Live, and I'm even thinking about doing the VIP part. Meet a few of the
players. VIP.
Yeah, bro. Got the money. Spend that YouTube cash.
What about the club that invited you, man? Get influence on Martin.
Club had never invited me. Piss off. What? Never invited me to the club.
YouTube cash for the one super chat you get per stream, Martin.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Pop, 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 pop. Johnny, man.
It's still more than your channel.
That one there was a violation, personally.
Wow.
No, I love you, bro. I love you, bro. Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a good job.
Thanks very much.
But to bring it back to the parade thing, yeah, I just think that I agree with you, LB, that like they probably should just end it at the Etihad every time. That makes perfect sense. But I just think that.
But they don't normally, do they, Joe?
But they don't normally, exactly. They don't normally, and also the Co-op the Co-op Live after party thing is very like for a domestic cup double. It's just not the time to do it, is it? Like they didn't even do anything like this after the treble. Like, why would they do this after a cup double? Like, it just.
Oh, by the way,
I see in the chat people saying that it wasn't open yet. So
it wasn't open in the chat.
So no, but they're not just selling level 1. There's standing tickets, which is the ground. You can buy level 1 and level 2. The whole arena's open, so you're talking 20,000 in there. That's going to be huge. That's going to be huge. That.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, man. I've said this before. I've said they should do the parade, and if you have a shit season where like you only win one trophy or whatever, just fucking do that and just give the money to charity or something. I think it'll be a good vibe in there, me. The
other problem as well with I don't know if this is even feasible to do all the time, because obviously the thing with Co-op Live is that you've got to book it like so far in advance. Like obviously City can just probably do a block booking for like one day after every season ends, and just if they've got nothing to celebrate, then so be it. They just sack it off. But it feels like something that you'd have to have planned well in advance for it, and I think like that probably comes with the idea that maybe there is a big thing to say farewell to in the meantime, and I hope that's not the case, but it is one more thing that you can stack in the evidence pile of maybe Pep actually is going, and this is a thing that is being.
And then the glass smashes, the smoke clears, and another bald Italian walks out behind him. It is what you could have won. You know they're going to hit the Stone Cold Steve Austin music, glass breaks, and out he walks in. You can just see it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens, man. But like I say, we'll probably find out within the next 7 days.
Well, that's it. Ultimately, I don't believe at all that we're going to get to the end of that day against Villa without knowing one way or another. To me, if it gets to the end of that day and Pep hasn't said one way or another, then he's staying for another year. Because there's
I genuinely think
they're all pissing off on Tuesday.
Yeah. What was that, Danny?
Yeah.
I just think it's mental. It's taken this long, like you said. Because even like with our big players leaving, like De Bruyne, Aguero, they get announced during like March international breaks. Jurgen Klopp was proper early as well. The Pep Pellegrini thing was what? Deadline day. January.
The Klopp announcement kind of derailed their season to a certain extent. So if you see that, then you don't want to repeat it. So now it's like, okay, we can announce Stones, we can announce Bernardo, but what we can't do is say that Pep is leaving, because that might disrupt everything. And I do agree with that. I do think that the players might already know.
But it's just I think the thing that Pep will want or not want is that we're in a title race, because realistically we're still in a title race. Like, there is a chance still that Arsenal drop points and we still win the title. If Pep announces he's leaving in the time where we're in that title race, then suddenly that just like throws a whole new narrative, a whole new thing for everyone to focus on. Like, I think Pep just doesn't want that to be the main attention that everyone's got to think about and deal with when we're still in a I think if we were like 6-7 points behind Arsenal at this point, like say for example now it was mathematically impossible that we win the league, he'd have probably just announced it after today if he was going. I just don't see the reason. I don't see what the benefit is from Pep Guardiola's point of view to announce it with a month or two to go in the season.
I agree. I completely agree with you guys. There's
much
no
more likely
benefit
that he would do it.
Yeah, there's no benefit whatsoever in him announcing it earlier. So
yeah.
Oh, and by the way, well, also he didn't announce. Someone told me this the other day. I didn't actually realise this. Did he not announce Barcelona till late April? No, he was off. It was like the last week of April. Someone said to me he announced he was going from Barca. I don't think he ever announces it earlier.
No, there's been a kind of counter argument, hasn't there? Like he's never broken a contract before, and it's like, well, yeah, but that's because he's only really had like 2 jobs that both lasted, like one lasted 4 years and one lasted 3. Like, there isn't really a huge body of work to go off, is there, for like for how he leaves his jobs. And I think that the fact that he's already been here for 10 years, like, we're already in he's never done this before territory. So him ripping up a contract before it's over. And I think personally, if Pep's going to, I always thought it's when he signed a 2-year extension. If he was going to leave, it wouldn't be in the final year, because that whole final year is just going to be everyone just like asking him, are you going to sign a new contract? Are you going to sign a new contract? Are you going to sign? I mean, look, it happens. It happens every year that he does sign the extension. He gets asked for about 2 or 3 months beforehand if he's going to stay, and then he says like, oh, he does the classic like, oh well, I'll stay until they fire me, like blah blah, and then he doesn't actually sign a new deal for like 2 or 3 months, and then I just feel like when it comes to these kinds of things, the enigma of Pep is that you can't really take what he says in press conferences and interviews at absolute face value. When it comes
there's never a good time for this job. There's never a good time, because even next season, say we go in and we all go, right, you're gonna have 1 year, like you just said, Joe. Then we're gonna spend the whole season. Is he gonna sign an extension? Is he gonna sign an extension? And we're gonna have that cloud and shadow in our background.
Yeah, exactly.
And then if we have a not so season next year, then it's, oh, well, we didn't know about the manager. So I don't know when there is a good time to announce it.
No. And I think a cup double's a perfectly good way to end it as well. Like, if last season he'd have gone, right now, fuck it, I'm off, it would have been horrendous.
Hey,
that'd be his final season.
That'd be trouble.
He would have been leading the sinking ship. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas this feels like he's if he does go, it feels like he's leading us. Yeah, he's made it much more steady for a future person to come in.
So it's what I said an hour ago. We have stability again. Like, we know what the winning formula is now. So like Pep's found it. Next match, just got to build on it. I'm not saying he's going to leave this summer, but
I was going to say, I know that they're not tied together, but do you read anything into Rodri potentially? The things being more positive and more talk about Rodri re-signing. Do you think that then also says that maybe Pep is going to resign? Because if Pep wasn't resigning, I think Rodri probably does leave.
I don't think there's any connection there for me.
I think there's more connection in Bernardo than there is Rodri.
Okay.
Because of the connection and love he has for Bernardo.
Yeah, it's kind of mad that Bernardo stayed here this long, and considering he's wanted to leave for like the last 5 years.
5 years, yeah.
And he's still.
Anyway, I'm going to shoot because I've still got 45 minutes left to do.
All right, mate. Safe journey, man.
Right, enjoy.
Yeah, it is quite interesting, Joel, when people go, if you don't want to be at the football club, I don't want you fucking here. And then Bernardo's the favourite player when he's not.
Bernardo's everyone's exception. Like he's just different, isn't he? What a guy.
Fucking
That Villa game is going to be rough next week. Like saying
as soon as the game ends, bro, just turn the TV off.
I'll be there. I can't. It's going to be horrible. Like even if we ignore the fact that if Pep stays, even if it's just Bernardo and Stones, it's going to be
But it could be worse. It could be Bernardo, Stones, Pep, Rodri. You could be there for a whole 5-6 hours with all the people that are leaving.
Trafford.
Ake.
Trafford, man.
Yeah. Anything else, boys, that you want us to cover?
This is maybe just like a brief look at midweek. Do we think that based on today's performance that we maybe drop points against Bournemouth? Because I think today looked like it took a fair bit out of us. And I didn't even think about this. Bournemouth, it's Iraola's final home game. They are potentially fighting for Champions League football. They've got a lot of reason.
Yeah, they're on about a week and a half's rest as well.
We needed Liverpool to win today, because then I think that would have made it so that Bournemouth couldn't get Champions League. So now they still have something to play for.
Yeah, so I just think the Bournemouth have just got a lot to go for here, and I just think
and then short turnaround too.
Like, I'll only be pissed off if we drop points against Bournemouth if Arsenal then drop points in their last 2 games.
That is
if
true.
we draw,
because they play Monday, right? So if on Monday they drop points and then we turn around and drop points on Tuesday, that would be that'd be.
If Arsenal win the next 2 games, it doesn't matter what happens against.
Yeah, it makes no difference. Yeah.
So for me, I'm just like, I just want to win these last 2 games just in case, because I don't know how I'm going to be able to cope if Arsenal drop points and then we don't.
And we also do. Yeah.
That will haunt me forever.
I obviously want to win, but if Arsenal's first Premier League in 20 years is them not even winning it for themselves, if the reason they win is because we lost to Bournemouth, they don't even get to win it with a win of their own, it'd be kind of funny. Because we've had a couple of those ourselves where United have lost, and that's how we won the league. I'm not saying I want us to lose. But...
Oh, you mean in terms of like they actually mathematically win it?
Yes, they
while they're all sat at home. Yeah.
Like how the women won it this year.
I'll say the women this year.
Yeah. I hate that so much.
Yeah, the Centurion season, man. Like that, just that.
They're all
going...
sitting in a room watching it on TV.
Like, I was watching that Jay Rodriguez goal for West Brom to win us the league. I just sat still in my chair. I'm like, I just wanted to win it for ourselves.
It's just dead vibes, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's not. Yeah, it's not fun. But so it would be kind of okay for that. But then, and also, would Arsenal be away last game of the season?
Yeah.
So they haven't even had the chance to win it at the Emirates. I mean, to be fair, they can't mathematically win at the Emirates anyway now, can they? So it's kind of that's the case no matter what.
My expectations are extremely low. I'm not gonna rip my hair out if we lose. Like I'm not expecting. I'm
happy. I'm content. I'm so content now with this season. I would have been pissed off if we didn't win today, but now we've won that. I'm so happy. I'm content. You can't win the league every year. We probably don't deserve to win the league. Probably not been good enough if we're being honest with you. But we've got 2 trophies. I think we should be more than happy with that. Let's fix our problems for next season in the summer to get the players in that we need to. And I think next year we can bring that Premier League home, man. I swear down. Yeah, but I'm chilling now. I'm happy. I'm content with the season, whether we win it or not. I'm calma. I'm good.
Yeah.
Anything else? Any other things that we need to cover? Shout out to Semenyo, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned his goal, but his finish was mint, by the way.
It's crazy.
Mentioned it. Top finish.
It's considering that I thought he was pretty shit outside of that goal. It's one of those things where it's just like that happens. You go, all right, nothing you've done in the game matters now. Like that's fine as long as you've just won us this game. I don't care how you played anymore. That's fine.
Mm-hmm. And that's what he does. That's why he's a bit of a frustrating player because I was speaking about it before on the watch along and I was like, we can take him off. But if we take him off, you've got to accept that the guy you're going to bring on, Savio, ain't going to score you. So you're going to need to make sure that Savio creates you for someone. And I got to the point where I was like, right, get him off, get Savio on. But he got you the goal, and that's where he's at. Sanko here says, guys, realistic wingers for us, apart from Elise.
But he's not realistic, so that's,
yeah, he's probably not realistic. I don't even know.
That's the issue, though. There's no grey area anymore. It's either someone who's unattainable or someone who's unproven. The winger market's just fucked.
It is fucked.
Yeah, we have got a bit of a problemo when it comes to signing an elite winger next season, haven't we? There isn't really anyone.
This is what I mean. You've got a message that says Due and a message that says McKay do back to back. That is like literally proving my point.
McKay Barcola, Barcola's not been playing a huge amount. But this is the thing. Did anyone see earlier today? There was this mad stat going around that Endrick has played more Liga minutes than Dembele this season, and Endrick joined Lyon in January. Yeah. That's this is the level that PSG are at with their players. They can just literally take them all off at half time because they win games and or rest them for loads of the season. And maybe that means that Barcola might be a player who's I could play every week if I went somewhere I'd get, who knows, but that's the only name that's even remotely elite that I can think of.
I feel like every time PSG play in Ligue 1, I click on their box score, I look at their lineup, and there's some random fucking academy kid playing. It's first 11. It's I swear I've seen Gonzalo Ramos in their lineup more than I've seen Dembele in their lineup. And that's partly because Dembele's been injured, but it's they don't even have to try in that league. And Lon's actually pushed them this year, but just a silly league. And
then the league made sure that they couldn't capitalize on the Champions League fixture by giving them the easiest move in the fixture later in the season, so that PSG would have an easier time. Their Ligue 1's a joke. It's like Scotland. What's the point?
That's something. Did anyone think anything other than a Celtic win would happen today? No one did.
No.
Yeah, no, it's always going to happen, really. Footy Vault with a 31 months. Big up for the 31, says Mbappe.
I was going to say, Vinny Jr., there was the connection there recently. I don't think it'll happen, but...
The only thing is, I think we need to focus on the right, not the left.
Yeah.
I agree.
Because I'm basically next season using Doku as my...
Rodrigo.
Yeah, well, I'm basically using Doku as my first choice left winger, Semenyo as a backup left winger. Right winger, ideally, I think we need to bring in someone new to be the starter. Semenyo backup right winger as well. Yeah, and you could keep Savio. It depends what people want to do there. So you've got options, and obviously Semenyo can be backup striker. I just think Semenyo should be backup everywhere, in my opinion. But I don't know who's a right winger that's good enough to come in, but is realistic. Who's good enough to be realistic? Who's actually good enough?
Everyone's saying, loads of people saying Akliouche in the
Monaco
in the chat. But yeah, he looked good. He looked good against us for Monaco, didn't he? To be fair, but again, he's 19, 20-year-old guy who's hardly, he's hardly a proven elite player coming in, is he?
It does make sense in theory, because aren't we buying that guy from Troyes and then loaning him to Monaco? Is that not because their right wingers probably headed elsewhere?
I've not heard this. What we're doing? No more dodgy.
So we've signed some guy from Troy. It's 25 million euros, and we just loaned him straight to Monaco.
That's crazy in and of itself. That is
ridiculous. Is he young? Is he pretty young?
Yeah. We're loaning him, but we're loaning him to Monaco. Apparently, Akliouche is 24, and the fact that he's having his breakout season at the age of 24 is really encouraging. So we should sign that guy.
Yeah.
He's 23. Big difference.
Oh, he's 23. All right, okay, cool.
Matthias de Torbe or something, Herbil says. Plays for Avra. Maris came from.
Yeah. So we took him or bought him, and then we'll loan him straight to Monaco next year. Which, but I'm pretty sure with the performances that Akliouche has been having this season, that they're probably resigned to him leaving no matter what.
Has he even been that good? Because no one's mentioned him in my chat until the last 3 weeks. And everyone's just been spamming his name.
Is everyone just remembering the game against us? Is that what they're all doing?
I don't know, man. Last year, everybody was spamming Akliouche. This year, no one spoke about him. And then we got to about 3 weeks ago, and all of a sudden, everyone in the chat's did he score a hat-trick or something last week or something? Did he do something mad last week? Because everyone over the last couple of weeks has been going on about him, man.
6 goals and 7 assists in 30 games. It's just Doku. It's just another Doku.
Get Palmer back. That's what I'd fucking do if it was me. But...
So do you mean another greatest winger the world's ever seen, Danny?
Depends.
Yeah, it depends on what season you're talking about.
I'm starting to dislike Palmer. I felt like anytime somebody got close to him, he was going down, trying to play for a yellow card, play for a penalty. I felt like that was a tactic that they talked about. Anytime you got close to him, they were all going down in a heap trying to get a ball.
It's really bad in football in general right now. When a defender feels a touch from an attacker, they just go down, and the ref gives a free kick every single time. Did you see it? Actually, speaking of Palmer, did you see him like the final whistle went, like everyone was still like celebrating, City players were all just like going mad. And literally, this could be like 2 minutes after the final whistle. It cuts to Palmer like arguing with the referee about something, and I'm just like, "What are you doing, bro?" Like it's like that meme of the guy who's the Japanese fighter who still thinks World War II is happening. It's like, mate, like it's been so
I know what you're on about.
It's been so long since the final whistle, mate. Just stop, just leave it alone. Like there's nothing's gonna change now. But yeah, he's a bit of a. I think he's had such a, I say, low key horrendous season. It's quite funny how bad his season's been. When people said the same about Foden. And
well, have you seen that image of Foden's GNA compared to like Saka's and fucking Palmer's, and everyone's like, he's got more GA than all the other players, and like we're all saying that Foden's been arse, and it's like still putting up decent numbers. He's still our second highest goal scorer this season. No comps.
Really, even with how pretty good Semenyo's been. Is it still forward?
Yeah, I think Semenyo might be one behind now. I think how many is Semenyo on now? 9.
I swear today was his 10.
I think it was 10.
Oh, if it's his 10, I think he might have equaled Foden. I'm sure Foden was on 10. So I think Semenyo might have equaled him today.
It's crazy. It doesn't even feel like Foden scored 10. It feels like he scored about 7. But fair play.
Yeah. Weird, man. All right, then, boys. Yeah, anything else? Any other talking points? I think we covered everything. Obviously, only one goal to talk about, which we've covered. Defence was probably the best thing about the team today. Another trophy for Trafford. Yeah.
Oh,
no,
shame.
Nothing else. Chat. Anything that we've missed that we need to go over? Are we done? Is everyone happy? We've covered all the topics. We've been live for exactly 2 hours. I think we probably have covered anything. Yeah, I think we're done then. I think we're done. Anderson, I mean, that's not really for this stream, really, is it? But yeah, I think we'll get Anderson in the summer, mate, to be honest with you. I think we'll get Anderson in the summer. Yeah, me too. I think that'll be class. I think that'll be class. We get Anderson this summer, man. I think that's going to be mega. All right, then. Sweet. Yeah. Mint. Any football on tomorrow? What's on tomorrow?
All the Premier League.
That's all the league games, right?
Oh, shit, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Except for Arsenal, who play on Monday.
Say Arsenal play on Monday.
Anything important?
Oh, that's a shit.
Oh, the Newcastle game. The Newcastle-West Ham game. West Ham need to win, don't they?
Yeah.
When do Spurs play?
When do Spurs play?
Are they not midweek because they were the other team?
They played Chelsea at the same time.
They played Chelsea.
Oh, so it's Tuesday then. If they play Chelsea, it's Tuesday. It's the same as us.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, we need a West Ham win tomorrow, and that'll make that Chelsea-Spurs game tasty, man, next week. Yeah, that's the same day that we play.
It's the most obvious 3-1 Spurs win I think I've ever seen. Like,
who would you prefer go down?
Spurs all day.
Or
Spurs.
Spurs all day. Spurs won because it's 6 points we might potentially get next season that we don't get otherwise, and also like just the comedy of a club with a £1 billion stadium going down is just it's too good to pass up. We need it. If Arsenal are going to win the league, I need Spurs to get relegated to like make it somewhat salvageable.
Lincoln City playing a league game in the fucking Death Star.
yeah, unreal.
That would be crazy, bro. That would be crazy. But yeah, man, crazy, innit? There's only 2 games left of the season. It's fucking mad. It's actually wild.
Then the World Cup begins and we got it all over again.
And then
the football never ends.
All over again. All right, sweet. Well, we'll leave it there. Big up for joining, lads. Right. Obviously, you guys know where to find the 2 lads down at the bottom. Make sure you guys are following Tarek on Tarek Peterson and on Shades of Blue. Make sure you guys are following Joe on the City Ramble. You still on that podcast? You're not booted off.
I am. No, not yet. Not yet.
You said he got booted off.
I saw Joe indirecting a podcast. I thought, is he indirecting Amos here? Have they had a falling out? I don't know what's going on. Nah, but all right. Make sure you guys are following the 2 lads, man. Tarek's doing all the shows, man. He's doing great stuff over there. So make sure you guys are subscribed there as well. And make sure you guys are following Danny on Rodrelicious on Twitter. He sometimes has little meltdowns on there. You had one. What was the one that you had last week, bro? You apologized.
I had a meltdown.
Yeah, you was going mad at something, and then you apologised and said, "Sorry, guys, I calmed down now. I got it off my chest." What were
I
you
was melting down about the state of the Premier League, how shit it is compared to 10 years ago.
Yeah, I remember reading your tweets. I was laughing, and then I seen another tweet like 5 minutes later saying, "Right, I've calmed down now, guys."
Have we become every other fan base when we win the league, and it suddenly means that the league's shit because we've won it?
No.
Because we haven't.
I think my main point is like people only care about games involving like City, Arsenal, and Spurs now. Like back 10, 15 years ago, you'd have mid-table banger games, and then those happen this season. People don't care anymore. It just feels like people say the same tired things to Arsenal, the same tired things to City, and it's just boring now. But
it is a shit league though this year, though.
It is a shit league, yeah. But
it's weird though because it's weird that on paper it shouldn't be.
Sole responsibility for that. It's just disingenuous.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
But it's weird because like if you look at the Premier League, sorry, but I'm just going to extend this a little bit more. If you look at the Premier League table right now, the gap between 12th and 6th is like 7 points, which is insane. Obviously, now there's 2 games to go, so that's irrelevant now. But that's insane. Like most other seasons, you'd be having like a big deal made about like the race for European football and stuff like that. But it feels like no one gives a shit about the race for Europa League anymore because there's 8 European spots now. Like no one cares. Like there's not
exactly.
like there's no major jeopardy.
Was it the Premier League where like half the league was like relegated or went to Europe? And like that's just not how it should be. And this is going to sound crazy from a fan of a team who got taken over 15 years ago, but it's like I don't want I don't want Bournemouth in the fucking Champions League, man. I want the Big Six to be good teams. I know it's kind of cool every once in a while seeing Newcastle, Villa. It's like the league kind of needs United and Chelsea to be good again. That's when it's at its peak watchability. I enjoy United being shit, but like part of me wants it to be a rivalry again. That's another thing I said. Like derbies aren't hyped up anymore because we're just so much better than they are now. Like it's the biggest game of the calendar still for me, but I need United to be good. I need Liverpool, Everton to be competitive again. I need Arsenal to not be far and away the best team in London every year. But I've had my rant. I've calmed down now.
Yeah, if Bournemouth get into Champions League, it will probably destroy them for next season because they won't have the squad to be able to compete in those midweek matches consistently.
No,
they'll take that though, won't they? They'll take that.
Oh, you take it all day long for the 1 year. Like the Bournemouth fans who've been like they're in like the same division as Oldham like a decade ago, and now they're playing. And if they're playing Champions League football within 10 years of that, it's mad.
It's like back when Eddie Howe was a player and he played for them. Back when they was in non-league,
No, definitely. All right, boys. Mint. Well, listen, lads. Hopefully, guys.
We don't have to talk about it, but did you guys see the Salah quote?
Crazy. No, what did he say?
Basically, he was just saying how we used to be good, we were great, and then basically we've fallen off, and we're not who we used to be. We need to get back to ourselves and the way we play. We play rock and roll football,
mate.
Yeah,
I've written. Oh, is this his tweet?
Yeah, he tweeted.
Yeah, the tweet.
Nah, mate. If I'm Slot, bench him for the final game of the season.
Crumbling to yet another defeat this season. Not what our fans deserve. I want to see. This is the thing. This is the tell. I want to see Liverpool go back to being the heavy metal attacking team, aka Slot ain't that
anything
guy,
other than what Slot is playing.
That sentence says I miss Klopp.
Like, that is a football I know how to play.
He's also the Slot ain't the guy. Slot don't play this football. You know
and back to being a team that wins trophies, basically saying Slot ain't winning nothing.
And the last part of that paragraph, it cannot be negotiable, and everyone that joins this club should adapt to it. So basically, Slot, if you come here, you adapt to who we are, not us adapting to you. This is so ridiculous. I mean,
it's so funny because he's on his way out. So like,
that's why he's saying
as soon as he leaves, Slot's just gonna be like, "All right, see you later, pal."
He's walked out of the room. He's pulled the pin on the grenade and thrown the grenade.
Yeah, that's what Salah's done. Salah's just cooking Slot on the way out. There's nothing Slot can do about it. Slot has to remain professional.
Everyone, it's so weird how like he came back from AFCON and everyone kind of forgot that he already did the grenade pin drop before he left for AFCON. And like and somehow that didn't get resolved in January, and he just came back and has been allowed to carry on playing for Liverpool. Like it's absolutely crazy. But yeah, what a prick.
I think it's hilarious. I think it's absolutely hilarious. But also I don't really like Slot this season. I think Slot this season has been been a bit weird, I think, compared to last year. Last year I didn't mind Slot. I thought, you know what, this guy's not too bad, man. He just says his thing.
Right. He's just a bit of a boring guy. We don't have enough fiery managers.
Nah, I think this year he's been disrespectful, man. I heard him chatting shit. I knew he was fucking off his head when he said Isak's the best striker in the league, and I was like, right, you've lost the plot, man. He wouldn't have said that last year. He wouldn't have said that last year, man. Last year he was mad respectful. He come in, he won the league, and I was like, you know what, fair play to the guy. He's done all right here. And then this year, man, he's been mad salty and shit. And I thought, nah, fuck you, man. Do you know what I mean? So I'm happy Salah's called him out. I think
his head has proper fallen off this year, though, after everything. Like the number of times that Liverpool have just like chucked games away. Largely because of his own tactics, to be fair.
There's nothing he can do about it as well, because Salah's a football player, right? So players sort of have more freedom to say what they want compared to managers. And Salah's on the way out. So Salah doesn't give a shit. Salah will just keep saying whatever.
He has literally nothing to lose at this point. He's gone no matter what.
To lose, bro.
It's funny because he never really struck me as that kind of guy. 3 or 4 years ago, he seemed like a pretty humble guy.
He didn't need to, because Klopp had the stuff, you know, he had the system running well. But now
it's always been a thing with Salah. Yeah, so it's always been a thing with Salah. Apparently, like Liverpool fans, he's quite infamous for if Salah says something, it's only because he has like a negative point to make about the club. Like basically, he'll only do an interview if it's I'm annoyed at a contract thing, or I'm annoyed that I've had a falling out with Mane of some description. Or it's just.
I think Carragher did that. Said that on Sky Sports on a Monday Night Football, about 3 or 4 months ago, and all the Liverpool fans were cooking him. But I think he was right.
Yeah,
he was right.
He's right. He only ever whenever he speaks, it's only ever bad news for Liverpool, because it means that he's creating some kind of drama that comes with it. Which I suppose is he
should be a YouTuber.
Yeah, yeah, he'll do well.
He'd be a good podcast.
Why I hate Slot.
just a thumbnail of him just watch it with Kirkes on the floor behind him. No, it was Slobosly, wasn't it, yesterday? He was on the floor.
Bottle fraud, sack him now. It's just a picture of Salah like that. Fucking good one. Sorry, good one for bringing that up. Yeah, that was funny, man. All right, and lads, let's get out of here, man. Shout out to the boys for joining me. Like I say, you know where to find Tarek, you know where to find Joe. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the lads. Big up Danny for jumping on as well. Before you go, chat, do me one favor, man. If you've enjoyed the show, please smash a like on the video. We're on 395 likes. We need 5 people to get to 400 likes. So make sure you are smashing up the likes. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel as well if you're new. And we'll catch you in the next one. City, domestic double. Let's go.